wonder why they stopped teaching cursive in school, and now I think I'm onto something. So they didn't ban cursive, but they did remove it from the Common Core standards back in 2010, and then schools followed. So like my son's in junior high, he was never taught cursive. So I think it's either one of these. So AI cannot decode cursive. I just found this out. It's one of the only things AI cannot decode. So were they preparing us? Like, were they getting ready for that? Or is it the fact that all of our historical documents, our declaration, it's all in cursive? So is it to like dumb us down, like so the next generation won't be able to really understand the laws or read the laws or know these things, or just to make it harder? Like, it has to do with something, right? Like, they didn't just stop teaching cursive for no reason. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments.
That's interesting because I remember being in school, and I remember, they was teaching us cursive. We was learning how to write it, learning how to read it, and then like they just stopped. It just like it phased out. And I never knew, bro, that AI couldn't decode cursive, and they stopped in 2010. Interesting. Like she said, they preparing us all the way back then, bro. The AI takeover was thinking that far ahead, man.
To look down a lot. I can't look people in their eyes because I can see their souls. Like, I don't know what it is. I can see someone and I can see their soul, and it's too vulnerable for me. Like, it's too like intimate for me right off the bat. I don't want to right off the bat meet you and look into your soul. So a lot of times I just look down. Like when I'm walking in the hallways and stuff, I just look down because some of y'all souls are ugly. Some of y'all need real help.
We've got this image taken of an object near Jupiter from one of those big, huge telescopes like they have on the hills in California, Colorado, or in Central America. In fact, those giant, massive telescopes are in just about every country. But this image was taken with one of those telescopes, and they spotted an object near Jupiter. Let's, like I always do, take a closer look. So this is the thing they saw, and that doesn't look like a natural object to me. It doesn't look like a rock. Heck, it doesn't even look like a toboggan. A toboggan is a sled you use during winter. Of course, that wouldn't be flying out in space near Jupiter. But whatever this thing is, it's big, it's massive, and it was skeet scat and shabdabbing right by Jupiter. There's a lot of strange stuff going on, and these huge telescopes catch some of it. And most of the times, that never gets released. But for some reason, this did. So it gives us a chance to think of what it could possibly be. And I want your opinion. Let me know in the comment section, Booshkies. Shabadoo!
CERN machine turned off, and things are going back to how they used to be.
Let's talk about the scariest episode in Shark Week history, the mermaid documentary. Back in 2012, Animal Planet aired a Shark Week special called Mermaids, the Body Found. And it started with one terrifying question: are mermaids real? The documentary claimed that after a series of mysterious whale beachings, scientists had uncovered evidence of a previously unknown aquatic humanoid species. As the special went on, things just got crazier. There was a grainy underwater footage of human-like creatures swimming beneath the ocean, eerie clicking sounds stating that these creatures were trying to communicate, blurry videos of figures darting through the water, eyewitness interview accounts from sailors and scientists, sonar recordings, and even what looked like forensic evidence of recovered body of something that had human and fish features. Then it introduced marine biologists and government officials and forensic experts that were explaining how these creatures could have evolved from early human. They also talked about why they stayed hidden in the deepest parts of the ocean and how the government was covering up their existence. It was even suggested that the military had encountered these creatures and kept it secret. The entire thing was filmed like a real investigative documentary. The only thing is, none of it was real, and that wasn't really explicitly stated. The scientists were actors, the interviews were fictional and scripted, the footage was staged, and the documentary was actually a scripted mockumentary. But millions of people genuinely believed that Animal Planet had discovered mermaids. It was so convincing that people were flooding the internet asking, is this real? And even NOAA, or NOAA, I don't know how to say it, released a public statement saying that there was no evidence of these creatures.
What happens? Plot twist, man. I'm about to freaking blow your minds right quick. Happens if it was like legit real, but they were seeing how like the government, no, they were seeing how the people were reacting, asking all these questions. Then it's like, okay, now play it off, or just say it's fake, bro. Hey, stranger things have happened, bro. I just don't want y'all to rule out that possibility, man.
To say halving the world's population could help save the planet. A new study suggests that gradually reducing the number of people on Earth over the next 200 years could create a much more sustainable future. Not by getting rid of people, but through falling birth rates, driven by things like better education, female empowerment, and access to voluntary family planning. Researchers say that fewer people could mean less pressure on resources, lower emissions, and more space for wildlife. Right now, the UN expects our population to keep growing, peaking at around 10.3 billion in the 2080s.
So you're saying there are continents we don't know about?
Do you think there's just 7? Just 7? That's what they told you. That's what they want you to believe. But Antarctica? It's hiding something bigger. Way bigger. Beyond Antarctica, there are lands we've never seen, civilizations that have been hidden from us. Why do you think access is so restricted? Since 1959, no country has allowed free exploration. No one. You can't just go there. You can't just walk in. That's not by accident. Behind those ice walls, there's technology beyond anything we know. Resources they don't want us to have. Life forms we've never been told about. And the people in power? They know it. They've been there. They've studied it. But they keep it locked away, far, far away from us. You think the world map they gave us is real? We've been lied to. They keep us trapped inside a fake world while they take everything for themselves.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Okay, so what on earth was captured on video in California almost 20 years ago? Now take a look at this video and see for yourself.
Okay.
There we go. Look, what is that? 2007 this was filmed. Now the backstory on that video is that an elderly couple who lived in Fresno were having problems with break-ins at their property, so they pointed a security camera at their driveway to capture anything suspicious, and boy, did they. And thus, the Fresno Nightcrawlers became a local urban legend. But then just a few years later, in 2011, a separate home security system captured very similar footage. Check it out. Now, like I say, this video footage is from 2011, and so the quality is slightly better. And as you can see, emerging from the trees here are 2 of the Nightcrawler figures, and a little baby version there, walking in the background. This was filmed in Yosemite National Park. And as you can see, it's just a parent and child having a stroll. Nothing weird to see here. Now, several theories on what these creatures could be range from owls to people walking on stilts. Even the sci-fi program Fact or Faked tried to debunk the footage, but they ultimately failed in their attempts. So, what do you think the Fresno Nightcrawlers could be? Aliens, ghosts, cryptids? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you.
Cryptids. What the heck?
Does anybody else besides me find this to be creepy? I know I can't be the only one. Now, this is Benny Blanco promoting his new song with Selena Gomez, right? But again, does anybody else besides me find this to be very creepy? People have been saying for quite some time that Selena Gomez has been looking different. This is what people are saying, but I'm sure that there is nothing wrong here, right? But you have to admit, that is very bizarre. That creepy looking mask riding on the back of this bicycle with Selena. Again, I can't be the only one out there that finds this to be a little bizarre. That mask is very creepy. That's like something that you would see around Halloween time. Again, I don't know what is going on with Selena Gomez or Benny Blanco, but you have to admit that something seems off about both of these people. I mean, it really truly does. Everything surrounding both of these people, something seems very bizarre. What do you think about this?
fall in love with most are eyes. Because you don't see anybody falling in love with anything that doesn't have eyes. Think
That's
about
true.
it. And in Asia, they say eyes are the gateway to the soul.
I believe that because I saw something saying like, why do we love dogs so much? Like, why do we connect? Why do we think they're so cute? And it's because their eyes are like the most human in the sense that the whites of their eyes is very visible like human beings. So that's why we kind of like sympathize and connect with them so much.
It shows so much emotion.
Their eyes do.
Oh my god, wait, you know what happened recently? Literally yesterday.
What?
So we were having a fam jam. We had my uncle's newborn baby. She's not newborn, sorry. She's like maybe a year or two old.
Aw.
She can start talking. She can speak a little bit. She said, oh look, Diego, my dog died. Diego died. And she doesn't even know the names of the dogs. But she said, Diego, Diego. She's pointing to the corner. Django, my other dog, is on the other side. It's like she saw Diego's spirit or something.
She did. She definitely did.
My sister's like, what the heck?
What the heck?
Yeah.
How much money would they need to pay you to scuba dive down where a bunch of whales are sleeping? You would have to pay me at least $700 million because there's no way I'm doing this. How could he ever be down there with a bunch of whales? Apparently this is common practice. People like to scuba dive with a bunch of sperm whales, which by the way, they sleep vertically like that because this is super interesting. Sperm whales are conscious breathers. They're not like humans. They have to think about every single breath that they take. So they have to keep their faces and their blowholes closer to the surface so that they can wake up every 10 to 15 minutes and go breathe and come back. But seeing photos like this of a bunch of them clumped up together and like just being there long ways, that is horrifying. I have a huge fear of sperm whales in particular because they are the only type of whale that has a thrussy big enough to swallow a human person. Also, y'all know the animatronic sperm whale that is sunk in the bottom of a lake that I always talk about. Also, the new movie coming out where a sperm whale swallows a human being. And I'm going to New York next week where I'm going to be taking photos with the sperm whale that has the squid in the mouth. So look forward to that. I am horrified, by the way. This guy's name is Fabio. Also, we talked about the other Fabio the other day that does the Stillwater stuff. Why is everyone doing weird stuff named Fabio? Anyway, would you ever do this? If you're interested in weird stuff like this, follow for more.
See, cause how much they got paid, man, to swim with those sperm whales, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. If you pay me probably $1 billion, I'll probably do it. But yeah, I gotta get bad for that, man. Cause I ain't gonna lie, that looks terrifying.
Broke in at 4 a.m. A woman's security cameras captured some strange footage in the middle of the night. At around 4 a.m., someone or something was crawling in her backyard. It then broke into her house without her noticing and just left. After seeing the footage, she contacted the neighborhood security and they said they would investigate. Some people say it's a skinwalker, while others say it's just a crazy lady. Either way, the way it moved is really disturbing. What do you think it is?
Have officially broken Ariana Grande after her team had to announce this weekend that she has to take a step back from visibility because of ongoing scrutiny. And I mean, don't even get me started on the fires. At least 35 are dead and 39 more are missing after a ferry went up in flames in Indonesia. A statewide emergency has been declared in Washington, where 60,000 people have had to be evacuated because of 15 severe wildfires. China have had an enormous warehouse catch fire, causing huge plumes of smoke that could be seen from miles away. Thousands had to be evacuated as Canada's Bradley Creek fire continues to rapidly spread in BC. An entire town in Colorado has been formally abandoned after a water and leadership crisis. Tens of thousands of the migrants that entered the Spanish territory of Ceuta are now seemingly voluntarily going back to Morocco, citing hunger, exhaustion, and hostility from locals. But they're not getting the warmest welcoming home from their police. And I mean, I did find some good news. Spider-Man Brand New Day has just had the second largest opening weekend of any movie ever. It brought in just under $1 billion in worldwide ticket sales in one weekend.
Cannot sensibly accept that the Sphinx is just 4,500 years old. The ancient Egyptians were there, but I believe they found the Sphinx already created and already heavily eroded, and that they then recarved its head into the head of a pharaoh, and that head is way too small in relation to the body. That makes sense if it was a heavily eroded lion head, which was then later cut down into the head of a pharaoh. The geology speaks to the original Sphinx being more than 12,000 years old. You see it there. Right. Those deep vertical fissures are classic weathering produced by rainfall pouring over the edge of that. The data says the Sphinx is 12,000 plus years old. There should be a huge question mark over the Sphinx.
What if
So it's older than 12,000 years old? Okay. So it goes back even further then. Interesting. I don't think we can, I guess, ever determine its true age because of all, like I said, the weather and it wrote in the rock. So can't pinpoint it down exactly. But Seekers, if you had to take a guess, what would it be?
9,000-foot tall trees once towered over the earth, and they made it possible for giants to exist. Ancient texts like the Book of Enoch describe a world very different from our own. A world where giants, known as the Nephilim, walked the earth before the Great Flood. But one question is almost never asked. If giants really existed, what kind of world would they have needed to survive? According to one theory, the earth itself was different. Not only were the beings larger, the forests were too. Supporters of the theory believe the planet was once covered with colossal trees reaching thousands of feet into the sky. Trees so enormous that what we now call mountains may actually be their petrified stumps. Look at formations like Devil's Tower in Wyoming, perfectly vertical columns, a remarkably flat top, and similar formations appear on nearly every continent. Then consider something else. We already know that wood can become petrified, turning to stone while preserving its original structure. So what if this process happened on a scale we've never imagined? The theory goes even further. It suggests these ancient forests may have created an atmosphere very different from the one we live in today, an environment capable of supporting life on a much larger scale. Scientists agree that Earth's atmosphere once contained far more oxygen than it does today. During the Carboniferous period, roughly 300 million years ago, oxygen levels are estimated to have reached as high as 35%. Today, they're only about 21%. So what if the Earth once produced forests far larger than anything we've ever imagined? Could those forests have helped create an atmosphere capable of supporting life on a much larger scale? Not just giant trees, but giant animals, and perhaps even the giants described in ancient texts.
Lose yourself in their expectations of you.
Well, I've felt that way for a long time. And then I see my big face on that movie screen with no makeup on and my natural hair color, and I'm like, oh, I just gave it away. I mean, you know, I have always liked Shapeshift.
Right.
The video you just watched shows Lady Gaga revealing a secret she was never supposed to reveal. People don't realize it, but she explains that when she saw herself on a movie screen, without makeup and with her real hair, she realized she had betrayed herself. Those were her exact words, as if the version of her we normally see isn't the real one, as if the makeup, the hair color, all of it is there to hide something else. And here, it's clearly a different version of her. She then goes on to say that she's always loved changing form, not changing her appearance. Changing form, that's far too strange. It confirms a lot of other things. But this is where it becomes disturbing, because in this industry, countless celebrities have let slip comments about wearing a mask or becoming someone else the moment they step into the public eye, as if the person we always see is nothing more than a costume. But without meaning to, Lady Gaga has just pulled back the curtain on all of it in front of millions of viewers, live on camera, with a nervous laugh that says a lot. And the real question is how many other celebrities are doing the exact same thing without us ever noticing.
Put me down! Put me down! Put me down! Don't eat me! I'm not a good snack! I'm not tasty! Listen to me! No, I'm not a good snack! I'm not a good snack! I'm not tasty! I don't taste good! I'm not tasty! I'm not a good snack! I'm not a good snack!
Solamente, Namsele. Ishame Batsembe Gamba? Dispo!
Always settling for the same tasteless snack? That's wrong. Going to Wendy's for a new chicken go wrap, that's right. Made with tender center-cut chicken, cheddar cheese, lettuce, and ranch sauce for only $1.49. Wendy's, that's right.
Bro, what is up with all these freaking fast food places having some weird old commercials, man? We got KFC, McDonald's, Wendy's. What's gonna be next, bro? Chick-fil-A? Everybody's on that damn list down, bro. I don't know what it was. I think it was alluding to something. You know.
McDonald's has some explaining to do. So hold on a second. You remember this nostalgic look, even the picnic table action. This is McDonald's Play Place. We grew up, I climbed in some of that stuff, man. Colorful, bright. I'm not going to talk about the quality of the food, but it was quite a spot. But do you know what the play places look today? And this is similar to the outside of certain McDonald's in the past, in the 1990s. This is from 1995. And this one is from 1995 as well. And it's not just a filter, it's colorful. They literally have colored roof action. It looks different. Today, we have a more corporate, sterile-looking McDonald's. And we're seeing this across the board with all businesses, corporations, logos, cars. We know they're all gray, white, or black right now. But look at the new play places. This video is going viral. I'm not kidding. This is a McDonald's play place in 2026. 4 screens, 7 chair stool things. And here's another one from Franklin, Tennessee. 2 chairs, 2 screens. Now, to be honest, regardless of if McDonald's had the best play sets in the whole wide world right now, I would still never set foot in there, and I would implore you to do the same. When you find out what's going on with the food supply over there, I don't recommend. But it's just shocking to me that they've dissolved the play sets into 2 screens, and that's what kids get to play with now.
So it's like they're pushing, bro. More screens, more screen time, man. It's that actual connection, bro. Like, that was just a sad transition to see the playpen, just to see. It's like they just set up screens and just like they're endorsing it, bro.
Well, I noticed something with some of the Taco Bell buildings. Notice that awning above the logo? Well, this one down here is to guard from the rain. This one up here is just part of the building, decoration. And considering the bottom of the bell looks like an eye with a 6 around it, I'm confident that that awning is meant to represent this. Do you see it? Yeah, you see it. Again, not all of them have that, but a good handful of them do. And because there's a 6 around the eye, a lot of the buildings only have it on 3 sides, like you see here, of course. Can't leave out how some of the logos look like a serpent eye or a reptile eye. Kinda hard to deny that one. How about the commercials from 7 or 8 years ago?
Because it unlocks a world of 20 decadent menu items from breakfast to late night for just $1 each. 20 items for $1. 20 steps on the pyramid. Who's really behind this? Is it the Illuminati or the Bell Illuminati? Experience the power of the dollar at Taco Bell.
August 5th, 2026, a team of astronomers from Ukraine's main astronomical observatory have reported seeing more than 20 unidentified objects observed near the moon. This isn't from hobbyists, they're professionals using telescopes with specialized high-speed cameras built to detect extremely fast, faint objects. Their report describes disc-shaped objects estimated at 15 to 25 miles across. The objects flashed in synchronized patterns and appeared to cross the lunar surface at several miles per second. The team also noted unusual shifts in brightness and rotation that they say are hard to explain with known natural phenomena. With the government's slow-dripping so-called disclosure, the release of that Steven Spielberg movie, there's obviously something going on here. What do y'all think that is?
An Oregon man was convicted and sent to jail for collecting rainwater on his own property. He was sued by the state for theft. Rancher Gary Harrington built 3 reservoirs on his own property to collect rainwater and snowmelt. He claimed that the water was for fire protection and to provide water for wildlife. But the state called it theft and they prosecuted him. A municipal code states that all water within the city limits, including rain, is actually owned by the state. The city requested that the courts remove his water system and impose a fine on him. Harrington repeatedly appealed the decision and stated that the water literally fell onto his land. He stated that he was not selling it. The court rejected all of his claims and he was found guilty on multiple charges. Unlawful appropriation of state water resources is what they called it. And he was actually sentenced to 30 days in jail and a $1,500 fine. Since then, it's caused huge backlash. If you can't own the water that literally falls onto your land, what do you own?
Elon Musk rockets accidentally hit the moon. I mean, how do you accidentally send a rocket at the moon? It wasn't really an accident, but that's what they're going to tell us because they know that's what we're going to believe. Whatever come on the TV and the newspapers, we believe it. This is not the first time this happened. In 1972, they was doing the NASA Apollo program. They sent a rocket or a missile to hit the moon. And when it hit the moon, you know what happened? The moon started ringing like a bell. I mean, is the moon really a bell? Because it damn sure was ringing like one. But before we go deeper, we must understand what the moon is. They call it Earth Natural Satellite. It's not really natural, but it really is a satellite. A rocky, airless body that orbits our planet, or I should say, controls our planet. So when they say this SpaceX rocket was an accident, nah, it was on purpose. They are trying to change the frequency of our planet. The moon operates on a 210 hertz. This frequency falls so low in mid-range that it plays frequencies and we can't hear it. Remember, they say life is just a stage, or I should say it's a movie, and we are being controlled by the background music. We can't hear it, but it's controlling us. The 210 frequency from the moon is playing background music, like in a movie or a motion picture. The moon controls water or currency. Money is currency, but we call it notes. And we are being controlled by the music notes. Elon Musk, they did this shit on purpose.
Winds in the east, mist coming in.
I see that.
Like something is brewing, about to begin. Can't put me finger on what lies in store. I feel.
Hey y'all, could this be the reason why everybody keeps saying that the heat has turned all the way up? Because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it do be feeling like there are multiple suns up in the sky, man. Cause look at this footage over here, bro. Am I tripping, or does it look like there's 3 or maybe even 4 bright suns or reflections up there, y'all? And the whole sky looks like it's on fire. And the clouds are not even helping, bro. Look.
Why is there another sun popping up?
Why?
Another sun, y'all.
Look.
We ain't gonna get into all that.
Look at the 4th one.
I feel like it is.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm seeing a whole bunch of weird looking clouds I have never seen in my life, bro. And I really think this has something to do with it. Like they're trying to hide something, because this is happening in more than one place. This right here was in Atlanta. And look at this one from Michigan. I mean, how many do y'all see, bro? Because I'm seeing 4. When you zoom in, it looks like there's another big red one behind this bright white one. Y'all see that? And what really boggles my mind is how are they moving through the clouds like that? Shouldn't the clouds be blocking them? And then there's the moon. You know how the moon is supposed to fall behind the horizon in the setting? This video, the moon doesn't do that at all. It literally gradually fades away, like it disappears, like a whole video game, y'all. And the man is like, what is going on here? And it's glitching. Y'all see this?
I've never seen the moon do that before in my time. Like,
look at that.
Like it just came up from behind the hill, and now it's like going up into the sky.
Look at that. Y'all see how it's turning red and orange and yellow? Look how it's pulsating and turning red and orange, and the sky is brightening up. Now I'm telling y'all, keep watching as the moon literally just fades away. Y'all, it don't even go behind the horizon. It don't. Look.
Hey, where you at?
Where?
Hey, where you at?
Y'all, look at the horizon. Look at the horizon. There's some weird things happening on our planet. Look at these entities caught coming out of the sun, bro. The orange and this yellow sun. And then this one. Right about now, I feel like more people need to be looking up, because there's some amazing changes happening in our place, man. Like, how do you explain this? But yeah, y'all, the shit is here. Let me know what you guys think about this video, man. Let's continue to get this shit. Peace out.
And at least 13 other states have moved to ban employer-mandated implants. Nevada went even further in 2019, banning these programs even for people who want to participate voluntarily. Nevada Assemblyman Skip Daly argued that any potential benefit in the technology is overshadowed by the risk of abuse. And it's not just about tracking. There are concerns about hacking, which could leave a person's private health, work, or even financial information exposed. There are also the physical risks. Some medical studies have found that these rice-sized chips can injure hand tissues and tendons, and laboratory tests on mice have associated the implants with tumors. Despite the legal pushback, the world of biohacking is still advancing rapidly. In Sweden, thousands of people have already signed up for implants that carry everything from office key cards to vaccine records. Here in the US, the FDA actually has been on board with the general concept for a long time. It approved implantable chips for accessing medical records in 2004. As technology continues to advance, the choice between science fiction convenience and the right to remain untraceable is a decision more of us may have to make sooner than we think. For the Washington Times, I'm Susan Ferriccio.
That is crazy. That the fact that some people are like volunteering to get that chip put into them, bro. You know what that chip represents, man? They freaking, bro, somebody can hack you, bro, like they said, take your information, bro. And it's just not worth it with the health benefits as well, man. Like, bro, it can deeply affect your health, man. People going crazy in 2026, bro.
The dog was placed inside a wheel attached to the ceiling, and as it ran, the spinning wheel turned a rod. This rod slowly rotated meat over open flames, cooking it evenly. And these dogs were bred on purpose to have long bodies and short legs, so they were heavy enough to turn the wheel while still being able to fit inside. But the work was exhausting, so some kitchens kept 2 dogs and swapped them when one got too tired. But machines eventually replaced the wheel, meaning the dogs weren't needed anymore, and the breed eventually disappeared.
What? Happy Cinco de Mayo weekend to those of you that celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I know I do. And for those of you that enjoy a nice ice-cold margarita, like I do, you might want to check that glass before drinking it. Why do I say that? Because a couple went out for margaritas, and they swapped drinks. And upon doing that, the girl's boyfriend took a look at his straw and could not believe what he saw. Take a look at this video for yourself.
All right.
And look at that. And he's alive.
We suing.
Can you imagine ordering a margarita and not even paying attention and taking a sip on that straw and inhaling or drinking this guy along with the tequila? Now, for those of you that are familiar with Palo Viejo, that used to come with a worm at the bottom of the bottle. I guess nowadays you can go to a restaurant and get a spider inside of your straw. No extra charge. One more look.
Hell no, bro.
So 2 things to remember on this Cinco de Mayo weekend. Don't drink and drive, drink responsibly, and check your straw before having a sip. This all happened in San Diego. This actually was a boyfriend and girlfriend that went out on a date. They had just swapped drinks when she gave him this. Now, my question is, do you think she saw it and was like, you want to swap? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Be careful.
And don't forget, check your straws.
Okay, so now meteors just falling in the damn lake.
The hell?
Loud. You can't make this up.
You're not freaking out because you are never going to have to brush your teeth ever again. Okay? Scientists have just created an artificial saliva that will actually protect your teeth. This is wild. Just stick with me and make sure to share with someone who hates brushing their teeth. So scientists have developed an artificial saliva using a protein from sugarcane. It's called cane CPI-5, and instead of making your mouth just feel less dry like you would without saliva, it actually sticks directly to your teeth and protects you, basically acting as a protective shield over the enamel. Now this matters because saliva actually does a lot more than most people realize. It protects your teeth from acid attacks, bacteria, and of course decay. So when someone loses saliva production, especially after having something such as head or neck cancer treatment, their teeth can start breaking down fast, and obviously that's terrible. So this is now in very early testing, but they published some of the research already. This sugarcane protein helps make teeth more resistant to damage, as I said, and researchers said it works even better when combined with fluoride and xylitol. It basically works as like a mouthwash which people will be given, they'll drink it, and it will coat your teeth for however long. Now obviously this is initially meant for people who don't have saliva production, people who have had certain types of cancer, as I mentioned, and this will be an absolute game changer for these people. But then it could start developing even more, as some scientists have hinted at, to be an over-the-counter sort of mouthwash that acts as like a replacement to a toothbrush. It will be a shield over your your enamel over your tooth that will protect you from everything. So I don't know how far it's going to go. It's going to take a while to get to that point, but it is crazy the things we're doing right now. So hit that follow button. I'll keep you updated.
Please brush your teeth, seekers. I'm begging you, man. We don't need woke people in this world, bro, who don't brush their teeth. Bad breath. You don't want that, man. Please don't be one of those people. You ghost hunting now? I heard that. Except we don't play? Oh, I'm out. Simple as that. Go something over.
Kardashian family is said to have destroyed the careers of every man who got close to them, and the list of these men reveals something disturbing. We've always known the Kardashian family as they are today, without ever really talking about the father, and yet he's the reason we even know this family at all. You should know that the father, Robert Kardashian, was Armenian. He came from a very old lineage tied to ancient knowledge. I'm not talking about black magic or anything like that, but influence, image, and energy. He was managing many things behind the scene. The first man to fall was Scott Disick. After being with a Kardashian for 9 years, he fell into depression that still affects him today. He struggled with addictions that took everything from him. But the strangest part is that he says he feels like something inside him is missing. For Travis Scott, it's completely different. Look at his eyes here. You can see there's life and awareness. Now look at him after being with Kylie Jenner. That kind of change doesn't feel normal. Timothy's case is much more subtle. I don't understand how people still haven't noticed. If you pay attention, he's always making those same gestures, always with that empty, glassy look. And when you know Kylie went from Travis to Timothy, their relationship doesn't feel natural. It looks like something staged. And the most well-known case of all, Kanye West, is the most extreme. He was seen as an untouchable visionary genius, but after Kim Kardashian, everything collapsed publicly for him. He's been in constant mental chaos, and his career is permanently fractured, as if that relationship burned everything out of him. And then there's Rob Kardashian, the only male in the family. He's almost non-existent. You barely ever see him. He appears, disappears, extremely discreet, like he's hiding something big.
Okay, you're on a cave. A gated cave? What the heck? It has to be Florida, right?
Who saw the movie The Matrix?
Me.
Okay. Good. We can start from a point of reference. Matrix was a banging movie to me, and the reason why I appreciated it so much was because, do you remember at the end when Neo realized his potential? He started to see the binary code. You remember that? The whole world. Well, that's where I'm trying to be spiritually. I'm trying to see the word of God in the whole world. So every time that agent throws a punch, I'm like, I see you. Oh, okay. I'm just catching his punches. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because I'm starting to see that. Things are just, situations materialize themselves and, he's an agent. But here's the trick. Here's the trick. Here's the trick is that you have to remember that sometimes you can be an agent. You can be an agent to yourself. You can be an agent against someone else and not even realize that you're being used, That's the Matrix.
She was spitting, bro. You guys know I know the Matrix. Look at my freaking background, man. The whole point trying to break free the system. That's why I started watching these clips in the first place, man. That's an interesting theory, though. She said you can be an agent and you don't even know it. Am I an agent? I can't be, right? Breaking my mind.
Toy surveillance tech to be put in cars by 2027. These regulations are getting insane. So pretty much AI will decide if you're fit to drive your car or not. It's just another reason to go buy an old car on Facebook Marketplace.
Yo, what the hell do they got going on in the White House right now? They just said a Secret Service agent was arrested for whacking off.
Patients here that person's on administrative leave this morning, but let's walk you through what folks are saying here. At hotel guests, they say that the man you see here, John Spillman, followed them to their hotel room Sunday night, dropped his pants, and police say they even caught Spillman doing so when they arrived.
Oh, no.
He was working as a security perimeter, screening detail for screening detail rather at Trump Doral for the president's visit as he attended the 2026 Catholic Championship golf.
I don't know what buddy on, but he looked faded, bruh. Something ain't right there. So you telling me this man just threw his whole career away because he wanted to beat his meat in the hallway? Bro, where they find this man at? How long was he a Secret Service agent? This shit is weird, bruh. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below in the comments.
More and more people are now saying that the CIA codes that were released are actually a real thing. And I was like, CIA codes like weapons or something? They're like, no. CIA codes related to the human body and how just knowing these sequences can change your body. How can a sequence of numbers affect your body? And how she described it, the woman who was like, this is a complete joke, and then tried it and said her pain is gone. She focused on the area where she was having the pain while she was having it, and then repeated this sequence of numbers, 55515, over and over again, kind of turning it into like a mantra, would say it out loud. It worked. I don't get to this because everything fascinates me. There is a pain relief code, the 55515. There is a peace code. There is an unexpected money code. We're talking a sequence of numbers for income. And wait for it, they also have them for weight loss and reality shift. Who knew? And apparently the romance code is another one that people say they swear by. You don't have to just walk around chanting these numbers to yourself so that you sound crazy. To everyone, you can just visualize this sequence of numbers, focus on what it is these numbers are supposed to be doing for you. We are also saying write these numbers down. You can write them on your body. Show them to water before you drink the water. Apparently being related to that study where they took water and like drew a picture of like an animal or something, then took the picture away and then stuck the water in like a freezer, and whenever they took the water out and ran it under a microscope, there was a picture of that animal, proving that water had memory. If it works, it works. Thanks, CIA.
President of the United States, a congresswoman, and a former intelligence official are all saying the exact same thing right now. UFO files are supposed to be coming, and they include things that you would not believe. Okay. So President Trump went on camera just 2 days ago and he basically said that he has personally seen UFO evidence and that it includes, direct quote, things that you wouldn't believe.
They want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material, and we're going to be releasing a lot of things from.
So what does that mean? He then said that the closure is coming very, very soon and that he already signed an executive order back in February forcing every single agency to hand over what they have. Give it to me. But he's actually not even the only one saying this right now, because the chairwoman of the House UFO Task Force just came out of a classified briefing and said that she saw evidence of objects that were not made by mankind. She then demanded 46 classified videos from the Pentagon by April the 14th, and then the Pentagon basically just ghosted her. So that's insane. And then on top of all of that, there's a former intelligence official who testified under oath in front of Congress. And he's saying that the files involve sentient, non-human intelligence. That's a sworn government witness saying that on record. It's not a Reddit conspiracy theory. Those UFO files are supposed to be coming soon. Multiple different people have said it, and when they do, I will obviously cover it immediately. Just make sure that you are already adding me, and you go ahead and add me now, so you don't miss it whenever that comes out.
When those files drops, man, those clip drops, I will be on the Seekers, man. So like you said, bro, sub up so you guys can stay notified, bro. And isn't it funny how they said that, you know, all this disclosure's coming out, and there's this movie coming out by Steven Spielberg called Disclosure Day, you know, about the aliens. It's like all lining up this year, bro. Crazy. Antarctica. Bro, what's down there, man? Truly in Antarctica, bro. I've seen too many clips now, man. There has to be something beyond that ice wall. Shit just stopped, man. Are they landing on the ice wall? Okay, they're flying over it. Should stop for fuel or something? Okay, so those are all the circuits. They lining up, bro. Okay, this is why America is sick. What they putting in the toilet paper? Okay, they putting some bad crap in there, man. Some bad chemicals.
She was taking her contacts out when things suddenly took a horrifying turn. She was sitting in front of the mirror getting ready for the night. First, she decided to wear her glue lenses carefully, placing them in and making sure they looked perfect. She even showed her followers her lens kit, smiling and talking completely relaxed. Then she snapped a quick picture for her boyfriend. Everything was normal, just another night. A few minutes later, it was time to take them out. She picked up a small tweezer-like tool and gently touched the lens, but when she tried to lift it, it didn't move. She blinked, adjusted her hand, and tried again. Still, nothing. A slight fear crept in, but she told herself to stay calm. Maybe it just needed more grip. So she switched to her suction applicator. She pressed it softly against the lens and pulled nothing. That's when it started to feel wrong. The applicator wasn't just holding the lens, it felt stuck to her eye itself. Seconds passed. Her eye began to dry, tightening the suction even more. Now every small movement hurt. She pulled again, because no matter how hard she tried, it wouldn't come off. What would you do if this happened to you? Let me know in the comments.
I just saw. Bro, that was crazy, bro. She was really like pulling her eye, like she was pulling the lens, but it was taking her eye with it. Bro, that was pure nightmare fuel, man. Just looking at it, bro.
On video, and I think it is one of the greatest representations of what the fourth dimension will look like. Keep in mind that in the fourth dimension, you'd see a person's past, present, and future simultaneously. This is the video I'm referring to. A man drew a picture of Saitama from the show One Punch Man, and as he's panning around the picture, you can see different images of the character within the image of the character. Since in a higher dimension, time would not be linear, but instead happening all at once, I'd imagine that every action that we took in our lives would be shown all at the same time to this higher dimensional being, as they're moving around in different directions that we don't have here in the third dimension. Now, obviously, these higher dimensional beings would be angels and ultimately God looking at our lives this way. But leave a like and let me know what you think in the comments.
I'm sorry, you are now manually blinking.
Sorry guys, I just turned on your manual blinking, and you know what, just for the hell of it, I'm going to turn on your manual breathing as well. This is a pretty cool TikTok video that I got tagged in that illustrates exactly why humans have the need to blink. We can see this eyeball illuminated green, we then see these dark patches show up every few seconds, and this cues this person to blink. Blinking is something we autonomously do every single day. A lot of people don't know why that is. It's because we have a tear film here with multiple layers. This layer breaks up quite quickly, between 5 to 10 seconds, which is exactly why we blink, to reapply and make sure that that tear film is still there. If you're in a situation where you're not blinking for an extended period of time, like playing video games, for example, this can result in dry eyes, which is quite uncomfortable, and oftentimes shows itself visually as bloodshot eyes. It's not a very pleasant thing to experience. I'm sorry though, because for the next 20 to 30 seconds, you're probably going to be consciously thinking about your blinking and breathing, which sucks. That's exactly what happened to me when I watched this video.
The dare just went horribly wrong because after putting an octopus onto his face, he realized he couldn't get it off. At first he thought it was funny, but the more he pulled, the tighter its grip got. The suction cups locked onto his skin, pulling harder with every second. Moments later, his friend finally ripped it off, but something went wrong. The octopus had taken part of his face off and left him permanently disfigured.
What?
You heard him. And now he's going to show you who he is.
That's what happened at Coachella?
This is what people are saying. Don't forget that. Doesn't mean this is true. Wow. Check out the hand sign. Come on now. Sway Lee said that he's not 100% human. He's a shape shifter. He said it, not me. All right? So, I don't know if he's playing around, if he's joking around, but he looks serious to me. What more can I say? he has this interesting chest tattoo. I mean, I think I know what it is. Maybe y'all know what it is. Maybe y'all can let me know what it is. Because it's a very strange tattoo that he has on his chest. I'm not sure why he would even get that to begin with, bro. You think he's bothered? Sway Lee is sleeping good at night. Sir, listen. Sway Lee said he's a shapeshifter. And to be honest with you, nobody believes that, not even me. But of course, guys, entertainment purposes only. These are musicians, entertainers. That's what they do. They entertain us. They're just playing around, guys. Don't believe nothing he's saying. Let's be real now. I just go by what I heard. I don't know anything. Let me know what you think. I'm out of here, B.
Could be, man. She's your overnight caregiver. I sleep on the couch. Okay. But you trying to see what's going on. Alright, looks normal so far. What the f? Is she peeking around the corner? Hold on, I thought she said she couldn't walk though. So who the hell is that? She's just staring menacingly for an hour or two.
What if I told you that in the near future, in order to pay for something through your bank, small, tiny airborne particles will swarm around you to read your biometric data in order to authenticate that payment? People are going to say this is a conspiracy theory, but here's the United States patent filed by Wells Fargo in 2022, and this invention is called Smart Dust. Here's the summary from the filed patent. You can read this for yourself, but Smart Dust is a system of small micro-electromechanical systems devices that can have sensors that collect data and transfer it to a base station device. These devices are small enough that they can be suspended in the air, and they can do facial recognition, get your height, your weight, your blood pressure, your eyes. They take that information, go back to the user profile, make sure it's you, and then they authenticate the payment. And less than a week ago, Trump signed an executive order that will require Americans to release their biometric data or lose their bank accounts. Of course, they will tell you that this is all for your security. Smart Dust was originally a military concept. Now it's going to be used as your wallet. What could go wrong? Well, this technology is insane because sure, it can be used to authenticate your payment, but it could also be used to surveil every single person in the world without them even knowing. I know Trump said no to central bank digital currencies, but don't you think that Smart Dust is worse? As always, let me know what you think about all of this down below.
I'm trying to get this Smart Dust stuff to happen too, bro. What is up with people, man, that want to be in people's business so bad, but want to track us, know our whereabouts at all times, man? It's just weird, bro. We can't have no privacy, man. In the big year of 2026. Mind blowing.
Hidden for years inside a host mother, this organism develops without ever showing on the surface, drawing all of its nutrients from the plant it lives in. When it finally breaks through, it opens into a massive rafflesia bloom, one of the largest single flowers on Earth. It survives without chlorophyll, meaning it can't produce its own energy. And it never forms leaves, stems, or roots. Instead of attracting bees, it releases a chemical odor that mimics rotting flesh to draw in carrion flies. Flies land and unintentionally transfer pollen as they move across the surface. The bloom only lasts a few days, then collapses and breaks down. This is one of the few plants that spends most of its life.
Take a look at what's going on in Indonesia, bro. Something is literally trying to birth itself into our realm.
Look at those dark clouds. Take a look at this silhouette over here, y'all. Isn't that a giant beam? A giant beam, and then it looks like a literal. Look at this giant sphere. Look at this. Y'all see this, John? Look at that. Y'all can see the outline of it, bro. It's literally trying to come into our realm. Y'all see, look at the sphere. Whoa. Because y'all can clearly see an outline of something. Why does it look like that? Y'all know what I'm saying? And sometimes it be tucking in and tucking out. And both the Philippines and Indonesia have back-to-back earthquakes. So what if this is really Stranger Things and they made us think that Stranger Things was really bad, but it's actually really good? Because what person in their right mind would see this and perceive this as bad? Because God is associated with the colors of the rainbow. And there it is right there. So is this the second coming of Christ? Is this the second coming of Christ that they told us about? Because this looks like some type of new consciousness, right? Because this is what I think about in the Lucky Charms commercial when they say taste the rainbow, the real rainbow, the living rainbow. Y'all cannot look at this and tell me that this is not conscious and that this is not a lie. Because sometimes I be seeing it playing peekaboo. Oh my God, bro. This is the new Christ consciousness energy, man. I can feel it. This is that plasma energy that's waiting to do its thing. Yeah, man. This is Lisa Frank. Great things are getting ready to happen. Let me know what you guys think about this video, man. The shit is here. We are in the midst.
This woman stayed by her husband's side after he suffered a traumatic brain injury, and her new husband fully supports it. In 2008, 24-year-old Brandon Smith was in a tragic car accident and suffered severe brain injury that changed his life forever. Brandon and Kristen married only 2 years prior, but when Kristen realized that her husband would never fully recover, she filed for divorce. But she agreed to take care of him until the day he dies, and so she filed paperwork to be his legal guardian. After the divorce, Kristen feared that it'd be impossible to find a man who would genuinely love and accept Brandon in their life. But in 2014, Kristen met her now new husband, James. And yeah, they both take care of Brandon together despite Brandon being Kristen's ex-husband. At Kristen and James's wedding, he vowed to love Brandon no matter what. Kristen and James have kids together and they treat Brandon like he's part of the family. Kristen says that James has never expressed or shown any jealousy, and instead he's accepted Brandon with wide open arms.
Disturbing facts you'll wish you didn't know. There's something called anesthesia awareness, which is where you wake up mentally during surgery. You can feel all the pain and you can see, but you cannot move or speak. And the scariest part is, no one even knows you're feeling every cut and incision. And there's stories of people going through 7-hour surgeries feeling every single thing. When you smell something bad, that thing is actually in your nose. When you smell something bad, you're breathing in tiny molecules of that and they're hitting inside your nose, so you might want to be a little careful next time you're inhaling your own fart. Most television laugh tracks were recorded in the 1950s, so you're most likely listening to dead people laughing. Your lip skin is the same type of skin as your anus. They share the same skin because they're the two ends of the pipe called the alimentary canal.
The creepiest places in the world. Gate to Hell, Turkmenistan. It's been burning for past 40 years, and no one knows when it's going to stop.
Lake Natron, Tanzania.
Due to high levels of salt contents, everything that touches the lake turns to pure stone.
We will not be going there. Check that off the bucket list.
Videos that seem innocent but have a terrifying backstory. Part 5. This man kept finding food in his apartment that he wasn't eating, so he asked his girlfriend about it and she said that she wasn't eating it either. He didn't believe her, so he set up a video camera to catch her eating the food in the middle of the night. The next morning when he checked his video camera, he found footage of a woman that he didn't recognize walking throughout his house. He called the cops immediately, and as it turns out, she had been living there for weeks. This next video shows 24-year-old Hollywood actor James Dean giving a public service announcement on the importance of safe driving habits. Nearly a week later, Dean was killed in a head-on collision where he crashed his Porsche at an intersection. The following is a home video of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer taken on Thanksgiving Day. At the time this was taken, he had murdered and eaten the flesh of 9 people.
Yeah, like I said before, it gets too expensive and I have to start eating at home more.
What he was doing. That was some eerie footage. I can all know what he did. Who was that?
This was the real-life Stewie Griffin,
and it was pretty disturbing. In the quiet town of Moon City, Rhode Island, a boy named Brock Lee was born on October 10th, 1954. At first, everything seemed normal. Just 6 months in, a deep man's voice echoed through the house at night. Brock's parents, Pete and Laurie, thought their home was haunted. They called in local ghost hunters, but no one could explain it. Hoping to escape whatever it was, the family moved. But the mysterious voice followed them. Then came Brock's first birthday party. As guests gathered, and the TV played in the background, a live police chase broke out on the news. Everyone laughed at how much the fleeing car looked like theirs, until the chase turned onto their own street. To everyone's shock, the car crashed, and their baby, Brock, stepped out, marched inside, and yelled in a deep voice, "Lock the doors!" When police finally entered and arrested him, they discovered the impossible truth. Brock, barely a year old, had the mind of a fully grown genius. The voice haunting their home all year had been his.
1 in a Million, Part 6. In 2003, 24-year-old Juan Catalan was arrested for the execution-style murder of a teenage girl who had just testified in a gang-related case. He spent nearly 6 months in prison and came dangerously close to facing the death penalty. Catalan had a strong alibi. He was at a Dodgers game with his 6-year-old daughter at the time of the killing, but he struggled to find a way to prove it. That was until his lawyer discovered that Curb Your Enthusiasm had filmed at the stadium that exact night. After combing through thousands of hours of raw footage, they found a brief but crystal clear shot of Catalan sitting in his seat holding popcorn with his daughter beside him,
4K.
accidentally caught in the background of a scene that was never used. Combined with cell phone data confirming he was at the stadium during the time of the murder, the charges were dropped and Catalan was released. Had the camera panned just a few feet in a different direction, an innocent man might have been executed for a crime that he had absolutely nothing to do with.
Caught him in 4K.
This is why you should never approach an abandoned baby carriage. There was a woman who was driving home from work who passed an abandoned black baby carriage. Pulled over to check it to make sure there wasn't a baby inside and see what was going on because it was really weird. Why was it just like in the middle of the road? There was a blanket on top of the carriage so you couldn't see what was inside. Naturally, she pulled the blanket off and she freaked out. She got right back in her car and drove off. Enjoy my stock image. She couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep, she could not stop thinking about this. She was really stressed and her husband kept asking her like, "Are you okay? What happened? Like, what's going on?" And she couldn't talk about it. Everything in her life was going wrong. She decided to pack her bags and leave, and no one actually knows where she went or what happened to her. But she did leave a note behind for her husband. Also, this is more what the basket looked like. It looked like an old-fashioned one rather than a modern one. The husband read the note and the note said this: "Whoever reads this note is doomed to have a cursed life unless you pass it on." So the baby carriage was a trap. The person put the baby carriage on the road hoping someone kind would go look and see if everything was okay, only to then be cursed. Now, I would show you the physical note, but I can't because this is a creepypasta and I tricked you. Let me know if you fell for it. Come over here if you want to see more of my content.
Imagine going to a family Christmas dinner and almost everyone dies from poisoning. This woman tried to kill her husband's entire family by giving them a cake she baked that was laced with arsenic. 3 family members passed away, 3 others were hospitalized, and this woman who poisoned everyone ended up taken on December 23rd when 42-year-old Diaz Mora baked a cake and invited her husband's entire family over. That evening, they began cutting the cake that they would normally eat on Christmas Eve, and almost everyone complained about the taste and that it tasted a little weird. But they still ate a significant amount of cake and almost everyone felt sick right away, and 3 people died right then and there. Investigators tested all the ingredients in the house and found that the flour used in the cake was laced with arsenic. But what's absolutely crazy is that a couple of months earlier, Diaz's father-in-law also suddenly died, and they exhumed his body and found high levels of poison. So they think that she also took his life. Now, you guys are probably wondering, well, what was the motive? Why did she do this? At first, the family didn't understand what caused her to commit this crime, but then they thought about it and they remembered a disagreement they had 20 years ago. 20 years ago, and they believe that she might have not got over this disagreement, and that's why she tried to unalive everyone. But things don't even end there, because while Diaz sat in prison, her husband told her that he wanted a divorce, and a day later
I need that over here, man. I didn't even know Finland had schools like that. Imagine that system over here in America. Would it thrive? Who knows?
What's going on, ma'am?
I'm dying, that's what's up.
Irving Fire Department. Ma'am, are you still there? Ma'am, are you still there?
On January 1st, 2008, a heartbreaking 911 call was made by a girl screaming that her dad had just shot her. But tragically, Sarah and her sister Amina passed away before help arrived. After Yasser took the lives of his two daughters, he fled for 12 years. He was captured in 2020 and he's been in prison for more than 4 years. And now he finally gave his first interview where he basically denied everything. Throughout this entire interview, he did not seem regretful for what he did, and instead he tried to tell a different story and claimed that he was the victim.
You make it sound like you're the victim here. Is that what you believe?
Exactly.
You're the victim?
Yes.
And said that he was being framed because of a conspiracy. According to Yasser, the FBI and the media used his case to push a political agenda.
I want my voice be heard. The FBI knows that. My case is being used to achieve cheap political points.
Cheap political points?
Yes.
You say the FBI knows that you are innocent?
They know that, and I will tell you why.
Let me ask you this. In your letters to the judge, right, you write, in my case, you could smell conspiracy in the atmosphere.
Yes.
So that's what this is about. Conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy.
Of course.
Cat.
How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? I see the smile.
Have been in court for the past 7 weeks, hearing graphic details of their father's sex life. Their support, though, has remained steadfast. Now they're learning to.
You heard Diddy, you know, some of the charges got dropped.
Psychology facts that'll blow your mind. You're programmed to like the music you listen to in high school the most. From the ages of 12 to 22, everything feels more important, so we tend to emphasize everything that happened in those years. We're programmed to see human faces in almost everything. Your brain is programmed to process images for emotional expression, which is why so many people can find human faces in so many random things. When you remember the past, you're not actually remembering the past, you're remembering the last time you remembered. Your brain treats rejection like physical pain. The same areas of the brain become activated when we experience physical pain and when we experience rejection. Sarcasm is a sign of a healthy brain. People who could instantly use sarcasm to a trivial question tended to have healthier minds.
Is this proof that the Pyramid Lake babies are real? There's a lake in Nevada called Pyramid Lake, and it holds a dark, tragic secret. Hundreds of years ago, a group of pirates lived around the shores. And these pirates were known everywhere for being really strong and, indestructible. Whenever they had a baby in the tribe that was born weak or premature or malformed, they would throw it into the lake because they didn't want to be associated with anybody like that. And their twisted belief came from removing the weak at birth. But their terrible actions ended up cursing this lake forever. Now the spirits of these babies haunt this lake. These are babies who never even got the chance to live, and they are known as the Pyramid Lake babies. Since they were robbed of their lives, they are known to be filled with anger. At night, their restless souls will rise from the water. They will fight, they will scream, they will wail, and their noises will be echoing around the lake. They're searching for a way to get revenge on the tribe that abandoned them. So if you're ever near Pyramid Lake and you hear cries or just strange noises, don't try to help. These spirits do not want to be saved. They want to trap your spirit forever. You can come over here for longer freaky videos.
There are a lot of updates coming out about the Idaho case. So this is really just a recap, just to report out everything that's being reported publicly, keep people informed. And this has been double sourced not only to the reporting sources that first put it out, but also to the police press conferences. Now that Brian Kohberger is in custody as their lead suspect, it is being reported that his DNA was found on the button of a sheath to the knife that was possibly used in the murders. There's also a public affidavit that might have leaked or it was publicly put out that shows that DM, which we're assuming might have been the roommate, was awake and saw him at the time of the murders. They supported this even further by saying that there was security camera footage that's now being made public from 50 feet away from the house at around 4:17 a.m. where you can hear the dog barking. And further confirmations from some of that leaked information that suggested that Xana Kernodle was most likely awake at the time of her murder. Also evidence that Brian was trying to apply and work for the police department that would be investigating his own murders.
Wow, what the hell? What?
Government is who you blame if you feel that these victims
didn't get justice because he was guilty of the domestic violence and all those things. But you know what they did? They swung for the fence and they went for a RICO.
Basically today the jury decided that a FRICO is not a RICO.
How do you feel about the verdict today?
I'm very happy. I feel like justice was served. I've been to a few of his parties, and there's been nothing but generosity and positivity, and I've never seen anything negative ever.
I'm an independent journalist that had predicted this was going to be what happened. I said the RICO was weak.
Hopefully he do get some therapy. Hopefully he does get some help. Seek some help. Stay away from the D-rugs and the addiction. But my question is for the people that were complicit, that you think he was guilty, what about everybody that got supposed immunities and proffer agreements and all of that?
Whoa, he was spitting, man. This Diddy case, bro. It's going away, man. People wasn't expecting. People thought Diddy was going away. I mean, when most of his charges got dropped, I think that was a sign right there.
This is one of the craziest urban legends I've ever heard, and it ended up being true. So almost 100 years ago, there was an aquarium in Australia that had a giant tiger shark on display. And the legend goes that one day, in front of like groups of families, the shark threw up a human arm. And not only is that true, but it opened a murder investigation. Also, this week's episode is all about Australian true urban legends, so make sure you listen. So after the shark threw up the human arm, the police had to figure out whose it was and why it was in the shark's belly. Well, the first thing the police noticed was the arm was cut cleanly, not jagged like it was from a shark bite, meaning that the arm was intentionally cut. So now it's clear that this was a murder, but whose arm is it? Well, one thing they noticed is that the arm has two boxers in a fighting stance tattooed on it. So they end up writing about that in the paper, and one guy who was reading it goes, "Hey, that sounds like my brother's tattoo." His brother was a man named Jim Smith, and he was involved in the seedy underbelly of Sydney society. Jimmy ran insurance fraud scams in Sydney, and he was just involved with a lot of bad people. And the last person he was seen with was one of Sydney's most notorious criminals. The story has a lot of twists, including how was he involved with the last guy he was seen with. And there's a lot of fun Australian urban legends like the story of the Button Man, so make sure you check out this week's episode.
They just found 383 bodies in a so-called funeral home, y'all. Somebody tell me how nearly 400 bodies was discovered in one building and nobody noticed for years. They wasn't cremating them, y'all. They was letting the bodies sit, developing a smell. Do you know how strong that smell had to been? And nobody knew? Yeah, alright. This was at a crematorium right near the U.S. and Mexico border, y'all. And get this, y'all, they said some of the bodies that's there was only there for a month. Y'all, and the crazy part is, family members were getting handed ashes in an urn, thinking it was their family members, and it wasn't the whole time. They was thinking their family members was getting cremated, and the whole time, they were doing some weird shit probably. The Mexican authorities said some of these bodies date back from like 3 to 4 years ago. So they said as of right now, they arrested the owner and some of the employees that work there. I don't know, but it feel like something dark going on behind this shit. They said this was in a cartel heavy zone in an area called Juarez, right across from El Paso, Texas, y'all. They said in that area, a lot of trafficking or disappearances take place. So if they found all these bodies in this one place, how many other places are doing the same thing? And how many family members were being lied to, saying they were giving their family ashes when the whole time their bodies was still in the same place? I need y'all thoughts on this as always. This shit crazy, fool.
Yeah, that's an important question, man. I saw that was tragic. Football
As I live and breathe, I'm going to tell you that it is still breathtaking. No matter how many times I see this happen, it is still breathtaking to hear someone like this, and I'm going to say it for the first time on air, this sick and twisted murderer. This sick and twisted murderer. It's breathtaking to hear him confess. It's breathtaking to hear him say, yes. It's breathtaking to now know after 2.5 years of him saying, it isn't me, it's someone else. It's you. You are the sick and twisted murderer, Brian Koberger. Legally, we can say it because he said it. I just can't tell you, it just does not get old to see a dry hearing like this where maybe we didn't get the motive or the details, but we now know that is the sick man that did this.
One of the girls you are looking at in this picture has no idea that in the next few hours she will be killed. This is Cheyenne Rose and Brittany Gargle, and they're doing what every young girl does and taking a selfie. They posted the picture on Facebook and they went out for a night together. The story goes that the two were inside having a drink when Brittany was approached by a man, and the two apparently hit it off so well that she was invited back to his place. Cheyenne messaged Brittany on Facebook asking where she was, but nobody was answering. The next morning, somebody was driving next to a landfill where they ended up discovering the lifeless body of Brittany. The man called the police to report a dead body, and this is where things take a dark turn. The police questioned Cheyenne about what happened, and Cheyenne basically just shows them the messages she was sending Brittany and saying, look, I have nothing to do with this. What Cheyenne is forgetting to tell the police is the messages she was sending to Brittany, she already knew she wasn't going to respond. See, Cheyenne lied about Brittany ever meeting a man. This never happened. Instead, the two got into an argument. Cheyenne took off her belt, as you can see in this picture, and tied it around her neck and strangled her. Cheyenne even went as far as commenting on her Facebook saying, I wish heaven had visiting hours so I could come see you, but I'm so glad you visited me in my dream last night. She was sentenced to only 7 years in prison, and chances are she's probably watching this video. Make sure to like and follow for more true crime stories tomorrow.
What's the scariest urban legend from your state? Today we're doing Missouri. Once again, we're talking about a haunted road, and this one is very creepy. Zombie Road was constructed in the late 1860s. It was originally built to gain access to the Merrimack River and the railroad tracks that were running right beside it. This 2-mile stretch of road had an eerie feel about it from the very beginning, probably because of how dangerous it was to drive along this road. You couldn't see what was ahead of you, and it would often cast really weird shadows. Eventually, this stretch of road would fall into disrepair, and in the 1950s, it became a lover's lane of sorts, where young couples would go to find alone time. They would also throw parties along this road and the likes. But many urban legends have plagued this road from the very beginning. One of the scariest was of a creepy guy who lived along this road in a shack, and he would frequently hurt young teenagers who came to use this area to be alone. People also talk about frequently seeing a woman in white or a woman who is walking along the road who gives off a bluish white light. Many people think that this is the wife of a local judge who passed away in 1876 due to an accident on the railroad track. Some people have even reported hearing a woman screaming at them from some of the abandoned shacks that are around the area, but when they go to investigate who was screaming at them, there is never anybody there. There is also a legend of a small boy who drowned in the river, and people often report hearing him and seeing him, but again, he's just never there. There have been several reports of paranormal activity, but many people just write this off as it's just a creepy trail in the first place. Like, it gives a really weird vibe, and when you feel like you're being watched, you're probably not. It's just your mind playing tricks on you. But others think that this is a hotspot for paranormal activity because of the deaths that have happened there, not just from the judge's wife or the young boy who lost his life or this alleged serial killer that's running around, but there were also many train derailments around this area as well. As it sits today, it's a bike trail. It's called Rock Hollow Trail, and so you can still ride on this road. So would you do it? Are you brave enough? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments and follow for more creepy things.
No! The place sounds haunted, man. Too many events, bro, took place there, man. When I go to Missouri, we won't be going there. Another place off the list.
Top 3 creepy last words people said right before dying. A nurse who wants to remain anonymous said that she had a sweet patient named Ella who started to lose herself to dementia. She started talking to herself. Most of the time it was playful. She would laugh to herself. One day, the nurse walked into her room and she was in a complete panic. She had her blanket pulled up to her chin and she was completely pale. The nurse went to her bedside to ask her what was wrong, and she said, "There is a woman in black looking in my window. and I am just petrified of her smile. The nurse said that it shook her heart. Reddit user SimpleSimon6262 said that when he was a student, he got called in on a stroke patient. She had coded and they were doing CPR. They worked for 45 minutes. But she died. They cleaned her up and called on her family to say goodbye. By the time her family left, she had been both brain dead and without a pulse for over 45 minutes. He said that blood had filled her brain and she was completely gray and had started to smell. Suddenly, she sat up and called for her family. The nurses rushed to get equipment and monitors back on her. She stabilized, said goodbye to her family, and promptly died a second time. Reddit user AJH1717 said that he works in a cardiovascular surgical ICU. He said that they had a stretch of nights where each corner room of their unit reported seeing a black cat walking around. Not a friendly cat either, apparently. The thing was hissing at them. The accounts were so similar to each other that they probably spent half an hour looking for the cat. Then they had security look as well. No cat was ever seen or found. 2 of those 4 patients coded the next day.
This funeral home owner left 190 bodies inside of a building and sent fake ashes to all of the families. He is now going to spend 20 years behind bars for this wire fraud. Now, on top of the 20 years, he also has to pay $1 million for the wire fraud too. In my opinion, maybe he should serve a year for every body he mishandled, so 190 years? And he committed all of this fraud after the families had paid. So these grieving families just wanting, their loved ones to have peace, get cremated or get buried, they didn't get anything out of this. And he mishandled all those bodies with memories and family values attached to them. He also didn't preserve these bodies in the right way. He let them stack up in various stages of decay and decomposition. It was so bad that there was a foul odor coming from them, and he just kind of hid it. He closed all the windows, he closed the doors, he didn't let anyone access the building to hide these bodies. He delivered the wrong body twice for a burial, and then he sent concrete mix inside of these urns and tried to disguise them as ashes. This guy and his business, biggest frauds of all time. He also tried to take $880,000 from COVID-19 relief funds back in the day too.
Scientists said the odds of it happening were 1 in 74 trillion. While 34-year-old Ann Hodges was napping on her couch in Alabama in 1954, a softball-sized meteorite tore through her roof, bounced off her radiator, and slammed into her side, leaving a massive bruise but miraculously sparing her life. She had become the only confirmed person in history to be struck by a meteorite. The space rock triggered a legal battle between Ann and her landlord over ownership, but it ended up in Ann's possession. The rock is now on display at the Alabama Museum of Natural History. Tom Cruise divorced all 3 of his ex-wives when they turned 33, and each is 11 years younger than the last. In 2009, a retired policeman named Geraint Wolford was admitted to Abergele Hospital in North Wales. Amazingly, it just so happened that he was put next to another retired policeman named Geraint Wolford. The men weren't related, had never met, and were the only 2 people in Europe named Geraint Wolford. In 2004, Grandma Dorothy Fletcher suddenly suffered a heart attack on her flight to Florida. When the stewardess asked if there was a doctor on board, 15 people quickly stood up. It was a group of heart doctors on their way to a cardiology conference.
She took the life of her coworker over some Lululemon leggings. On March 12th of 2011, just before 8 a.m., Rachel walked to a Lululemon store in Maryland where she was the manager at. Once she got to the front door, she noticed it was already unlocked. Once Rachel went inside, she noticed that the clothing racks were scattered all over the floor, mannequins were in pieces on the floor, and she could hear a faint moan in the back of the store. Rachel was terrified. She turned around, ran outside, and called 911. Right next door to that Lululemon was an Apple store, and a guy named Ryan worked there as a security guard, and he saw how frantic Rachel was, and he told her that he would go inside to see what was going on. Once Ryan went inside, he followed a trail of blood to the back room, and that's when he found the store supervisor, Jana, unalived. As Ryan turned around to leave, he saw another employee, Brittany Norwood, and she was lying in the employee bathroom. Her hands were zip-tied, her shirt was pulled up, and there was a Lululemon t-shirt around her neck. Although Jana did not survive this attack, Brittany was okay. Once police arrived, Jana was pronounced dead at the scene, and she suffered from 331 wounds from 5 different weapons, including a wrench and a hammer. 200 of those wounds were on her face and her neck, and 100 of them were defense wounds. Jana was alive for the entire attack until a fatal stab wound hit her spinal cord. As for Brittany, she had a gash on her forehead. She received stitches for it and was released from the hospital that same day. Everyone just assumed that this was a robbery gone wrong, but this was far from the truth. On the night of the attacks, Jana and Brittany were working the closing shift together, and around 9:30 p.m. they closed up and left. Once they left, Brittany had realized she left something back inside of the store, and since Jana was the only one with the keys, she asked her to come back to open the door for her. Jana unlocked the door and disabled the alarm. As Jana and Brittany were looking around the store, two masked men came in and they were all wearing black. Allegedly, these guys beat Jana to death, essayed both of the girls, and let Brittany live because she was more fun to do it with. Apparently, this was Brittany's story to police, but police weren't really buying it. When Brittany told police that there was two masked men that came in, they started to investigate the place and only saw two footprints, which would be Brittany's shoes and a men's size 14 shoes. There was no evidence of SA from either woman, and on Brittany, it wasn't her own blood, it was Jana's. Brittany was caught in a lie, and eventually the truth came out. On the night of the attacks, Jana saw Brittany stuff a pair of Lululemon leggings in her purse and confronted her about it. Once they locked up the store, Jana got in her car, called her manager Rachel to tell her what she had saw Brittany do. A few minutes later, Jana received a call from Brittany telling her she had left something in the store, and that's when Jana turned around to go open the store for her. While Brittany pretended to search for her item, she attacked Jana from behind. She stabbed, beat, and choked Jana for 17 minutes. That night, employees at the Apple store nearby could hear screaming, and they just figured it was nothing. They thought it was just drama going on at the Lululemon store. Once Brittany took Jana's life, she went into her car and moved it. Meanwhile, she was thinking of a plan to stage the scene. She grabbed Jana's blood and put it all over her face, and she cut a hole in the crotch of her leggings. Finally, she grabbed a men's size 14 shoe and walked around the back room to leave footprints to hopefully throw off police. Once Brittany was all done, she zip-tied herself and laid down on the bathroom floor, waiting to be discovered 10 hours later. Brittany ended up being arrested about a week later, and she admitted to everything that she had just lost it at the heat of the moment. Brittany was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
This is one of the scariest urban legends I've ever heard, and it ended up being true. So there's this stretch of road in Turkey along the D100, and the urban legend says that if your car breaks down on the side of this road, do not get out of the car. Because according to the locals, one night, a few people got into an accident, and when they got out of their cars, they all melted on the road. Well, this is coming from an episode I just did on urban legends that ended up being true, but it turns out there is a reason that they all spread this legend around. In 1965, a passenger bus was traveling down this road when it crashed into a big truck carrying a bunch of water, and it caused water to spill out all over the road. The passengers got out of the bus because they were okay, but when their feet touched the pavement, their shoes started to melt, and it felt like their feet were on fire. And that's because the truck was not carrying water, it was carrying nitric acid, an acid that dissolves skin on contact. As they were on the ground crawling away from the accident, the acid was melting the skin off of their bones. And the worst part in all of this is that a group of 12 people saw a bunch of water that had collected in a drainage ditch and thought they should jump into it to protect themselves. But really, they jumped into a pool of undiluted acid and dissolved within moments. If you want to hear more urban legends and the even scarier stories they're based on, check out this episode of the Heart Starts Pounding podcast, and this is part of a whole series that we do.
Man, another place off the Turkey, that road, we won't be going there, man. A pool of acid, and he thought it was water. They jumped into it not knowing. Chilling. Truly, man.
Morbid Facts, Part 315. In 2006, Abraham Shakespeare won $30 million in the Florida lottery and tried to use it to help others, giving away large sums to friends, family, and even strangers. But sadly, his generosity made him a target. A woman named Doris Dee Moore pretended to help manage his finances, slowly taking control of his assets while isolating him from loved ones. In 2009, Abraham suddenly vanished without a trace. Months later, his body was found buried beneath a concrete slab behind Dee Dee's property, shot twice in the chest and covered with lime. In 2012, Moore was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Florence Lawrence, often called the first movie star, rose to fame in the early 1900s and became one of the first film actors to be publicly credited by name. At the height of her career, she suffered a devastating injury in 1915 when a staged fire spiraled out of control, leaving her with severe burns and a fractured spine. Universal Studios refused to pay her medical bills, and her career never recovered. Over the years, she faded into obscurity, taking uncredited roles and struggling with chronic pain and depression. When she died in 1938, 2008, she was buried in an unmarked grave, as Hollywood had all but forgotten the woman who helped define it.
First time hearing about
The car wash owner who passed away had a dying wish to shower the streets with money. Just hours after his funeral, a helicopter flew over Detroit and dropped what witnesses believe was around $50,000 in cash. His family thought it would just be rose petals, but he had one last surprise to
GPT wants to put AI inside of your brain. Sam Altman, the man behind OpenAI, has just revealed a new startup working on brain-computer technology designed to link human brains directly to AI. The company looking to do this is called Merge Labs, and they've just raised $252 million with OpenAI reportedly their biggest investor. So what's the plan? Well, Merge Labs says it wants to connect biological brains with AI to enhance human ability. This isn't sci-fi anymore, as Elon Musk's Neuralink has already implanted brain chips into humans, including paralyzed patients who can now interact with computers using thought alone. But Altman's version could be less invasive. Instead of implants, Merge Labs is exploring ways to send signals from your brain using things like ultrasound. Supporters say this could restore lost abilities or even boost intelligence and creativity. Altman has been thinking about this for years. Back in 2017, he wrote that humans may need to merge with AI to keep up, or risk being left behind entirely. So is this the future of humanity, or just the start of something much darker? Either way you look at it, the line between Black Mirror and real life just got even thinner.
I don't like that, bro. Not at all, man. AI merging with our brains, bro. Like I said, he said it's basically like Neuralink, but just less invasive. You guys know how I feel about Neuralink too, so I don't like that path we're going down, Seekers. Those hogs? And he's chasing after him. Get him! Get him! Yeah, he's not getting him, bro. He's cooked. Yeah, he's cooked, bro. He's not catching up to them at all. He gave up.
People are tired of getting paid unlivable wages and are fighting back.
House fire number 3 right here in Ohio. I was tagged about this. This is an Amazon warehouse that also just caught on fire. So this is the third one after we just heard about New York and Queens, and then the other one in California where we saw the big video behind it, right? Now, this is breaking news. I don't know much about it. I was tagged in this. This happened, I think, perhaps today. Along New York Queens fire that I was just reporting on earlier. And then somebody had told me about this, and I haven't been able to find any news about it online yet, but there's this special weather statement, moderate, for a fire spread in Pennsylvania right now. So that's 4. 5 right here where somebody said a jeans store was set on fire in California. Again, I can't corroborate these things right now. These are just comment. And somebody also said New Jersey for another warehouse fire. So that is literally California, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I'm getting comments and reports in right now that there have been 5 different warehouse or storefront fires in the last 3 days.
Everything's going up, the gas, the groceries, and people are still getting paid unlivable wages while everything around us rises in price. People are tired, they're fed up, but maybe we're going to start seeing some changes here soon. As always, stay weird.
Maybe. No way he stole the banana, bro.
This is some of the clearest footage ever of Bigfoot's face. A man was walking through a snowy Canadian forest one day when he eventually noticed a strange creature watching him. It was hiding just behind a fallen tree covered in snow. Take a look.
Okay. Let's check this out. Something definitely staring back, bro. Bigfoot, what the hell? Or is it?
His shaky, rushed footage gets multiple shots of the being's face. When we freeze it and zoom in, it gets even more disturbing. This seriously is one of the best looks at this alleged creature's face we've ever gotten.
He's clearly hiding.
It has human-like features, but its skin is dark gray and leathery, and it has long flowing hair on top of its head. It has a prominent brow ridge that sticks out and is very pronounced, but this one has a smaller nose and a thinner mouth. They're usually described with very large and wide noses, more primate-like, but this one here looks more human-like. And this incident occurred specifically in Ontario, Canada, so this could explain the more humanoid look. It's definitely some very interesting footage and some very clear footage, most importantly. But what do you guys think? Is it the real deal? Let me know in the comments down below.
Watch this.
Got it. How bloody wild is that thing? That is the jewel in the Great Barrier Reef. Oh, Papa Smurf. Got a big lips on it.
Damn.
Look at these things, big meaty boys. Epic.
Alright, this fish is called a Napoleon fish, or a humphead wrasse, and it's got to be one of the strangest looking fish that live on a reef. I mean, first off, look at that giant bump on its forehead, and that thing, it keeps growing as it ages, especially in dominant males. Something crazy about it is it's built like a tank. It can crush clams, sea urchins, anything with a hard shell, using its super strong teeth that are hidden deep in its throat. And it even eats venomous things, like there's this thing called a crown of thorns starfish, and it'll eat that, which most fish won't even touch. Now, personality-wise, divers say these things are like weirdly friendly. They'll follow you around, look at you, stare at you, let you pet them like a dog. It's insane how comfortable they are around humans. And something weird about this species is that they're all born female, and later in life they'll turn into a male only if the group needs one to reproduce. When they're young and juvenile, they don't even look like this. They have these crazy, bright, maze-like patterns that run all over their body. And even though they're huge, massive fish, they're very vulnerable. They're slow, they grow slow, and they don't reproduce often. So yeah, they're giant, smart, change gender, friendly, and they eat venomous fish. So these guys are basically the boss of the reef.
That was crazy, bro. The way he's fondling those lips, I was getting worried for a second. He saw some bones.
This is where most people would turn around. You turn around and you never get to see what's on the other side. That's where all the gold is waiting over there. Could be missing out what's on the other side.
You heard that?
Hello?
Something snapping. Yeah. He went back.
Oh god, there's even more bones than last time. Looks like we've already passed it a while ago, but that tree is gone. I'm probably gonna turn around soon. Oh, there's two ways. Holy crap, dude, this trail's going forever.
Where you gonna go?
It just got really quiet really fast.
There's that. You gotta jump it? He's stupid, man. Hit it.
That was my cue to leave.
Yep.
Now, this is probably one of the more sad things I've seen. The largest data center in the world is planned to be built in Ohio. It'll cost up to, fucking $40 billion to construct, and it'll be 3,700 acre center that will require 10 gigawatts, or 1/3 of Ohio's entire power grid capacity to run. 1/3 of an entire state's power capacity?
Bro, the electric bill in Ohio is about to skyrocket, man. We learned watching these clips recently, man, how, man, they trying to put all these data centers now, I guess, for ChatGPT AI, for them, I guess, to run properly smoothly, but they handing us the bill. Crazy, right? They making something, bro, but we getting stuck with the bill, bro.
If you seen this outside your house, you was not
Look at this shit. Thousands of bees took over parts of Israel, y'all. Now, I don't know why this is happening, but I know this shit don't look normal. Could this be the signs of the time? Because you already know, Israel got a lot of shit going on right now with them. When this was happening, people was told to stay inside for obvious reasons. Because I wouldn't be out here. I swear, this is like a warning sign. You don't get warnings like this for no reason. And look how it was on this car, fool. They just bundled up like that. That shit look crazy. Make me think about Candyman. So they was downplaying everything. Like, oh, it's just a swarm. But this shit don't usually happen like this. Not all at once. The whole sky was covered in bees. Bees only move like that when something disturbing them. So you gotta ask the question, what was disturbing them to make them do this? And out of all places, Israel. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below in the comments.
We'll never underestimate the power of the human mind again after hearing about the Harvard housekeeper study. In 2007, a Harvard psychologist took hotel housekeepers and split them up into two groups. The first group was told that the activities they did every single day, vacuuming, making the bed, all exceeded the Surgeon General's recommendation for exercise. The second group was told absolutely nothing. The crazy part was 4 weeks later, the first group had lost weight, lowered their blood pressure, and had lower body fat percentage, all just by believing they were doing exercise.
That's weird. Where's the water coming from? It's not connected to a pipe. What in the Minecraft? That was different.
We're supposed to believe the three people from one spaceflight have exact lookalikes that have the same age and same exact names.
Sir, I'm going to have to. Will you let me finish for at least 10 seconds? You're finished.
Thank you for taking away my freedom of speech today in here.
I did not take away your freedom of speech.
Yes, you did.
I don't want to hear it from you
Just
people down here.
Uncomfortable
Stop.
topic.
Officer, please remove this man from the room.
Okay. What did he find in the back rooms, bro? People were watching? That's a bad sign. Don't let me find out we got full families living in the back room, bro.
So is it a conspiracy, or is it just plain truth of how bad fast food continues to get on a daily basis? And why do I say that? Because a woman who recently stopped in at Arby's to pick up an Arby's classic roast beef sandwich was shocked and surprised at the quality of the meat on her sandwich. It quite frankly didn't look like meat, and it also didn't look fresh. Have a look at this video.
Okay, I'm on my break for work, and I went to Arby's. I mean, I never go to Arby's, but I was like, oh my god, like curly fries is so good. Then I opened up my freaking roast beef sandwich. What in the?
Does that even look cooked?
Nope.
Dude, it looks like skin.
What in the world does that look like to you? Does it look like skin like she claims it does? Does not look like roast beef to me. Does that look like a roast beef sandwich to you? And like her, most Americans have been reporting a drastic drop in quality at fast food locations. She did tag Arby's in that post, and they have yet to respond to whatever that is between those two pieces of bread. And then there are the claims that due to the increased pricing in roast beef and other meats all across the United States, that these companies are going with cheaper processed meat. So let me know your thoughts in the comments if you've been to Arby's and experienced this with the classic roast beef sandwich. Or after seeing this, will you try the roast beef sandwich? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Let me give you my answer. No! Who says let's go to Arby's, bro? Anyway, if we hop in the car, man, you say let's go to Arby's, I ain't gonna lie. You might have to just... You walking the rest of the way, bro. We don't do that around here, man. See, because actually tell me down below, man, if you eat Arby's, bro. Or fast food now in general, man, because like you said, man, they putting these processed foods out there. I don't trust it.
If you don't believe in black magic, listen to this. This is actually a viral story about a girl who was affected by black magic before she even knew it. At first, everything seemed normal. That was her face before she realized anything was wrong. No signs, no warning. But months later, she came across a photo, and that's when things started to make sense. You need to look closely at the picture. Every single spot that appeared to be pinned or marked in the image later became a real problem on her face. The exact same places. People believe black magic is real. And they also believe in something called the evil eye, negative energy, or jealousy that can cause serious illness. Some even say it can lead to major diseases. The only way to remove black magic or the evil eye, according to believers, is ruqyah, a spiritual healing practice where you recite specific prayers over yourself. But here's the difficult part. If the black magic on you is strong, they say you can't remove it by yourself. It becomes very hard to do alone. That's why some people seek help from someone experienced. In this case, there was a woman named Zorkia in the comments offering help. She does charge money because this is her profession. Whether you believe it or not, this story spread everywhere. So the question is black magic real? Or is this just a coincidence?
Now, see, because have you guys ever encountered black magic before? I can't say that I have, man. But the fact, man, that the pins on the picture was matching up with what happened, that was eerie. Truly.
Everest guides were just caught making climbers sick on purpose so that they could fake helicopter rescues and scam insurance companies out of $20 million. So basically, Nepal just charged 33 different people for running one of the craziest scams that I have ever seen, and it was all happening on Mount Everest. The guides were mixing baking powder inside of climbers' food to make them sick on purpose. And then obviously, if you're somebody that's at the top of Mount Everest and you start feeling terrible, they call in emergency helicopter rescues that are completely fake.
Authorities in Nepal are warning of a new threat. Investigations now suggest climbers are being pushed into fake medical emergencies.
A normal helicopter ride off of the mountain costs like $2,500, but these guys were billing insurance companies up to $31,000 per flight. But here's the thing though, because hospitals were in on the entire thing too. Doctors were caught writing fake medical reports saying that climbers were critically ill whenever they were completely fine, just so that the insurance money would come through. Almost 5,000 people fell for this over the span of 3 years, and the total fraud adds up to nearly $20 million. So if you have ever wanted to climb Mount Everest, I would maybe check who's making your food first.
This might look like a Dementor from Harry Potter, but it's actually a silk-covered mannequin sent to the edge of space. It's part of Mission Toroni, an art and science project created by the Dorothy Project and artistic director of Toroni, Maximilian Canepa. According to the team, the goal is to explore our relationship with the planet, inspired by the overview effect astronauts feel looking back at Earth. The process wasn't a simple one. To make it, the team made an ultra-lightweight human cast, designed the custom silk covering, and mounted it to a carbon fiber rig. They then launched it from the Canadian countryside by balloon into the stratosphere, about 33 kilometers above the surface of Earth. Up there, the sculpture was exposed to sunlight, gravity, and wind. The result, an eerie floating silk figure above the planet. In the age of AI, it was important to the creators that every step of the process was documented, and very little of the final product was edited. While reactions online have been mixed, the creators say they're grateful for the opportunity to have made something never seen before.
People are reporting mysterious burn marks appearing inside of their cars. This person says they stayed at a hotel at the beach, and the next morning that mark was there in their visor. You don't have to look far at all to find other people reporting the same thing. A long black burn mark. Here's another one even more dramatic than that. Goes all the way across on top of the visor. Here's another one. Goes across and see it melted through the visor right there. Even more common is people finding what looks like cigarette burns in their car, but they don't smoke. And in fact, if you look it up, you'll find people getting falsely accused of smoking in the car because they returned it with a burn mark like that. Here's a kid saying his parents accused him of smoking in the car because there was a burn mark in the seat. And some of you out there know exactly what this is because it has happened to you. Because you left a bottle of water in your car on a sunny day. And a bottle full of water is perfect for focusing light, just like a magnifying glass. Every year, fire departments have to do demonstrations on this, trying to show that you can absolutely set a piece of paper on fire with nothing more than a bottle of water, the sun, and a few minutes. It does not take long. But to get this effect, where it looks like a death ray has fired all the way across the roof, in this person's case, they left a makeup mirror in the passenger seat. It was in a clear makeup bag. But any sufficiently reflective surface left inside the car will reflect the light up, and then this beam, that's the sun tracking across that surface. Fun bonus fact, if you ever go to buy a crystal ball from the kind of shop that sells that kind of thing, when they sell it to you, they will tell you, don't put it near a window unless you keep it covered. Otherwise, the light from the window will hit that and it will burn your house down. The lesson here is that it is very easy to accidentally build a death ray.
Toyota unveiled a fully humanoid basketballer the other day called a CUE7, and it was part of their showcase to try and tell people that the future is fully robotic sports. That's apparently what they're saying. Now, it's got wheels for legs. It doesn't run because apparently that would be a hazard. So it just wheels its way around the court. It can pass, it can dribble, it can do all the normal stuff that basketballers do. It shoots pretty well, but apparently it can miss, which I don't know if they coded in that it could miss, or some robots are better than others. I don't know how they do it, but it's pretty good at shooting. And it's an indication of possible fully robotic sports in the future.
Can you guys imagine, man, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, people, they're not going to be debating Michael Jordan and LeBron, bro. They're going to be like, man, do y'all remember, bro, the Toyota robot man against, what's another car company? Freaking, the Ferrari man, a robot basketball player, bro. Even though they be in the same league, man. No more GOAT debates, man, with actual people, bro. It's going to be between robots.
The entire planet was just 3D scanned using Pokemon Go. I cannot make this up. 30 billion images. LiDAR scanned with your phone. Create a digital clone of our entire world for AI. Yep, those Pokemon were not in random spots. They were in spots they wanted you to scan. Multiple people scanning the same place, different times a day, different times a year, have all just created a map that is so accurate, GPS can't even come close. This would allow robots to get anywhere on Earth. Now, before we start blaming the tech companies, that was right in the terms of service that everyone agreed to. Google also did this with reCAPTCHA. You ever wonder why it was almost only images of city stuff? It wasn't ever select the image of a shirt or a fork. Google charged businesses to use this and trained its AI for free. So where are we in the life cycle of AI? Because I think we've been here before. First, we research AI. Then we perfect AI with quantum computers and stuff. Then AI perfects itself as we make it dance. Then AI enslaves humanity and makes us build its components into the earth. Then the sun throws a thunderbolt like Zeus and kills the AI demon, forcing us to go underground. When we emerge, we return to worshiping the sun like we used to. I'm only half kidding, sort of. Niantic Spatial is the company that did this. And despite its terrifying implications, I will say it, that was one of the most genius moves in human history. Pokemon.
Breaking news from some of our favorite fanthropologists, Billy G. Gates. You will love to hear what he is cooking up now. This is an amazing, exceptional, and also innovative idea. He says that we should be merging biometric digital ID with bank accounts and payment systems, and that will be necessary to monitor people's health records, keep tabs on farmers, and solve the climate crisis. All of these things bundled up into one convenient token, you could say. We love farmers, we love saving the climate, and we love health records and monitoring them. So I see this as an impeccable forthcoming next step in the digital, not enslavement, but the digital freedom that's coming around the corner that they have planned for us. What do you guys think? Is this a great idea, or should we?
I've been seeing these new supercell tornadoes that got uploaded into the earth, bro. I have never seen anything like this before, bro. Look at this, man, in Oklahoma. Look at this jump, bro. What the hell? Here go another point of view with this, bro. It looks like Goku powering up to do a Kamehameha or something. Look at that. It looks like two hands coming together about to do a Kamehameha. That shit literally turning in within itself. Bro, look at the sun. Look at the sun. Bro, y'all see how red the sun is? And this over here a different color? This don't make no sense, bro. I mean, look at Maryland, bro. What's going on with these new storms 2026? I ain't never seen this before. It's a whole nother world out there in New Mexico, bro. Look at this. Look at all this light. Look at this. Bro, look at this. Where is this coming from, bro? Look at this, y'all. It looks like it's coming from a whole nother world. Look at this storm from Omaha, Nebraska, bro. And why do these lights keep changing? Like these different greens, these blues, these yellows, these reds and oranges. And I don't know about y'all, but I have a feeling this is about to get a lot more pronounced, bro. This is only the beginning, man. We're noticing all these changes. Look at all these colors, bro. This is crazy. But never have I ever seen supercells like these, bro. Have y'all? We're literally in this shit, man. Let me know down in the comments below. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Guys, it's happening again. Even more countries are turning completely red. Remember, the footage you're seeing, zero filters on it. This footage, for example, is from the Greek island of Crete, where the visibility has got so poor that flights had to be rerouted. And the same goes for several North African countries like Libya, and is moving towards others like Egypt too. So, what the hell is going on? Well, similar to what we saw in Australia over the weekend, an intense storm has blown through North Africa's Sahara, and it blows all of this red sand into the atmosphere, which clouds the sun and creates this real-life red tint. And so while it feels like a fitting time for the apocalypse, it's not yet. If I do it,
I thought that was just located over Crete. I had no idea it was in other freaking North African countries, man. You would think something like that would be on the news, bro. The only way I found out is because of these clips, man. They would not report this. I wonder why.
Give them the signs that I'm good. Hey, y'all see me start taking pictures? They're like, oh shit, she giving them signs. I'm like, my eye. They be like, yeah, we got influence.
We got her, we got her.
Go get him.
Just every now and then.
Every now and then.
Every now and then. Just...
Oh, okay. And they'll contact you.
Is that what Ice Spice is trying to do at the Super Bowl?
It's not a try. She did. And you know what? And I don't care what nobody say, because I'm always right at the end of the day when it comes to this stuff. She's an industry plant. It's common. You came from nowhere. Your little short... No. Girl, no. No, You just came from anywhere. And so is the other girl. Give me sweat, whatever. Make me high.
Tyler, come on, that sounds like just a little bitty girl. Damn, Tyler.
One song gave you a Grammy. How's that possible? You walk right in, the song's still on the fucking radio hot. You got a Grammy. How do you do that?
That's true.
How did you get that? How did they even do a audit on it?
There is a growing number of people that are becoming suspicious that the NBA may be rigged after an interview with JJ Redick went viral. Check it out real quick.
JJ, pretty impressive and efficient second quarter there on offense, especially. What did you see from your team get rolling there?
The ball stopped rattling in and out.
That helps usually in basketball.
When there's 5 of those shots in a quarter, it's a little odd.
For sure. Second half.
Look at that movie. I think it took place with the Washington Huskies or something. No, maybe that's a different movie. There's a basketball movie about that where they put a little electronic chip in the ball, and every time I got near the rim, they would make it rattle off.
I wish I knew, and I totally believe you.
That whole conversation has people theorizing that there are microchips or magnets in the ball that can repel or attract the ball to the rim. And I wouldn't be surprised if that were true because of how much money sports betting makes. But leave a like and let me know what you think.
Let me find out, man, that they got some microchips at the basketball games, bro. And that's how they're throwing games at the end, man. We saw, bro, proof of, that games can be rigged, man. Players didn't. A whole scandal came out with players and coaches, man. They was in on it, bro, making money off that. So we have no idea how deep that hole goes, man.
What kind of conversation do you think President Trump is having with Melania right now?
I keep telling you, those Epstein files are about to reveal more things than we've ever known. Why would President Trump's wife call a press conference to speak about what she didn't do with Jeffrey Epstein without President Trump knowing? You heard what I just said? This woman held a random press conference addressing the nation about what she didn't do with Jeffrey Epstein, that she didn't know or have any connection to Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. But my question is, aren't there emails in those files stating that Ghislaine and Melania had contact? And Melania also took the time to say that the DOJ needs to release all the files. But if you jump down that rabbit hole, don't they have pictures of Melania in those files? Look at this shit.
Implies seeking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein. Need to end today. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at the New York City party in 1998.
Now, I'm not saying that anything is about to happen, but why would she hold a press conference without her husband knowing? Why would she hold a press conference about Jeffrey Epstein without her husband knowing? I just want to ask, what does that seem like to you? Do you think something is about to come out? Do you think we're about to find out something that we wasn't supposed to find out? Pay attention.
What do you think, man? I was actually kind of shocked when Melania Trump, she said that they need to release all the files. Bro, this Jeffrey Epstein saga, man, it keeps going and keep going, man. People aren't letting up, bro. People want all the files, man. Everybody wants to know, like, there's more people in it, man. They want to see them get exposed, man. So tell me down below, bro. Do you guys think that all the files from the Epstein case will truly get revealed?
Not want to miss this. Tomorrow, these 4 astronauts are slamming back to Earth at 25,000 miles an hour. 25,000 miles an hour. That's nearly 17 times faster than a bullet. And their heat shield is going to hit 5,000 degrees. So they say while they're making this travel back down to Earth for 4 minutes, while they're free falling, they're not going to have no signal. It's going to be a blackout. Don't everybody remember the Blue Origin splashdown? That should look crazy on some GTA shit. You know what I'm talking about. Do you remember? The hatch was supposed to be open from the outside, but they opened it from the inside. So the Artemis 2 splashdown is happening tomorrow night around 5:07 Pacific time and 8:07 Eastern time. I just want everybody to observe and watch the splashdown. Just check for any little crazy things to happen. Or just the scenery that we're going to see. And hoping it's not like Blue Origin. So this is where the Artemis 2 is allegedly landing in San Diego tomorrow. So if you're in San Diego and you got a high-powered telescope or some shit, I want you to go out there and record the shit. Record it when it's first entering the Earth atmosphere. Let us see something.
As he picked up the package, he saw a human poop. So he checked the security footage and saw the delivery driver taking a dump, then pulling up her pants and running away.
Hell no.
Half an hour later, she was caught on a second camera, peeing in front of another customer's house after dropping off a package. And when Amazon found out, they searched for the driver and banned her from deliveries. But they never revealed her identity, so nobody knows why she did it.
Release the poop files, man. She has to be exposed. Simple as that, bro. Imagine walking out, I see the freaking crap on your freaking sidewalk, man. Or your front door. And you check the cameras, find out that person did it, man. Nah, I need to find out who that is, but they disrespected me. We ain't going out like that, man. Release the poop piles.
This is a photo of the Earth taken from the Artemis II, exactly 12 hours after the first photo of the Earth was taken. Do you notice anything? It's literally the exact same photo, the exact same cloud patterns, and Africa is in the exact same position. I thought the Earth was rotating at 1,000 miles per hour. Not only that, it's orbiting the sun at 66,000 miles per hour. All of that movement through outer space, and the Artemis II managed to take a picture of the Earth in the exact same position 12 hours later at nighttime with the exact same cloud patterns. And this is the Artemis II halfway to the moon. Yeah, propelling through the void of outer space, which is impossible. And they were halfway. Look at the size of the moon when you're on Earth. Like, just go outside and look right now. Do you see the size comparison? How are they halfway to the moon, but it's way, way, way smaller than it would be if you're on Earth, when you're further away from the moon when you're on Earth? And look at this video. The Artemis II launching, it literally looks like the Artemis II crew is ziplining out of the rocket. Look, you see that? Have you noticed how they didn't show anyone in the crew cab once it was actually, like, launched? That's because they ziplined out of the rocket. That is a giant helium balloon that is shooting way up into the air and then falling into the Atlantic Ocean. But I made this video entirely for entertainment purposes only. Of course, space is real.
Really?
15 minutes taken. These ticks off. Close.
Where he at? All those damn ticks.
This is not a conspiracy theory. I repeat, this is not a conspiracy theory. Watch this until the end. You've got the entities, let's call them demonic entities for wonderful word. They're operating just outside of this visible light reality that we experience. They use the bloodline families as their vehicle to manipulate this reality. They take over their mental, what passes for their emotional processes, their physical processes. And what that means is, when these bloodline families go into positions of power, what we're actually doing is seeing these entities go into those positions of power. And so the secret society network is there to manipulate these bloodline families and their agents into the positions that dictate society and the direction it goes and all the rest of it. And because we can only decode their visible light level, we see the human level. We see people under different names called Rockefeller and Rothschild, Bush and Obama and all the rest of it. But if we could see beyond visible light just a little bit, and some people can, you would see overshadowing these people anything but a human entity. And it's these entities that have passed through what we call history, and they have been the cement, the guiding force that has brought this conspiracy through to the present. All presidents are related. Check this out.
It's a great thing for history.
George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, William Howard Taft, and President Barack Obama. One young girl traced them all back to one common ancestor.
They're all cousins and all grandsons of John Lackland.
It's the first family tree of its kind, pouring through more than 500,000 names for months. 12-year-old Bridge Ann D'Avignon discovered that all the U.S. presidents, except Martin Van Buren, are related to the former King of England, John Lackland Plantagenet, signer of the Magna Carta in 1215.
Mildred Reed is his first great-grandmother on George Washington. And on Obama, Mildred Reed is the 10th great-grandmother.
It started as an assignment to research her own.
So now that you guys put all of that together, please understand that this is all a fucking lie. Presidents are not elected. They are selected. By who? Non-human entities, also known as reptilians. This has been in the fucking works for thousands of years. You guys heard me, but like, this has been in the works for thousands of years. They intentionally created this bloodline, these bloodlines, so they can control humanity. These people, these presidents are just vehicles. They are actually not here for anybody. I don't care what you believe, what you are, what race, what beliefs you have, how much money you have. We are against non-human entities. We need to awaken people because time is running out. They are going to do digital ID through the politicians. This is how the reptilians are getting everything done. Through the politicians, through the presidents, through the government. All of this is all tying together. Connect the fucking dots.
Paradise Season 2 just ended with a wild cliffhanger about the Denver airport, but it's shocking me how few people know about the real-life conspiracy theories about this exact plot. Let's get into it. So, like, the whole doomsday bunker under the Denver airport storyline, that's not random. That's a decades-old conspiracy theory. It is believed that underneath the Denver airport there are massive underground tunnels, hidden bunkers, and a place elites will go if the world ends. And the total cost of construction of this airport ended up being $2 billion over budget. And there were claims back in the 80s that they built parts of the airport and then buried them, which makes no sense unless something's been hidden. And then to make things worse, inside of the airport there are these really disturbing murals depicting war scenes, people in gas masks, dead animals, and really apocalyptic imagery. And there's a long-standing idea that if DC were to ever suffer a catastrophic loss, Denver would immediately become the new capital of the United States, which does give credence to the idea that there's all this secret underground infrastructure in Denver. And then there's Lucifer, which is honestly the most absurd part about the entire theory. Lucifer is a 32-foot tall blue horse statue with red eyes that towers over the airport. And during construction, a piece of it broke off and killed the artist who made it. Like, severed his artery. He died before it was ever completed. And that's what greets you when you land. So it's looking like Paradise Season 3 is going to be totally intertwined with real-life conspiracy theories about the Denver International Airport. And honestly, regardless of what's fact and what's fiction, something is definitely off about the Denver airport.
If they put it in the media, man, there's a truth to it, bro. You guys know I've been saying that many times, man, that they putting the hidden messages in the medias, bro. You just got to pick up on it. All these people at least got these secret bunkers, man. What about the bunkers for the regular people? What about us, man? I feel like all of us need to come and band together, bro, and make a secret bunker, man, just for the regular people, working class, man. It's crazy, bro. They got an exit plan. What about us?
Seen Kim Kardashian's recent Skims ad?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god, see the whole time. So I seen her in paparazzi pictures, and she had a newspaper saying, oh, aliens are real or something like that. Something about aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
But her new Skims ad is her in, there was a bunch of Kim Kardashian clones, and then it zoomed out into a spaceship that they were in, and then it flew off. So I realized what the meaning of Skims means.
What does it mean?
Oh my gosh, look. So in 2015, there's a film called Jupiter Ascending. The term skim refers to the harvesting of humans from Earth to process into Regeneration X, a new youth serum product.
Oh shit!
Remember we talked about?
I watched that movie before.
Yeah. That's what Skims means, though.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And remember we talked about them taking us all the way to their place to just like get our DNAs, make new life there. That's really what's going on.
Yeah, look, we've heard that type of tale for a long ass
time.
Yeah. The morning of November 8th, he climbed to the roof of the Huayuanhua Center building to film the most jaw-dropping stunt yet. Most people aren't allowed to climb to the very top of these buildings, so Wu likely had to free climb his way from the outside as well, adding life-threatening risk to this challenge before the camera even began rolling. After reaching the roof, he set up his tripod and began recording, and started lowering himself over the edge. First the right leg, and a few seconds later the left. However, instantly something was not right. He looked like he was struggling to hang on and had to readjust his grip multiple times. He was potentially already exhausted from the free climb to the top, but he didn't really have the time to rest before someone from the building management might notice him and escort him back down. So he went ahead with the stunt anyway, proceeding to do the pull-ups he was most well known for. The plan was to pull himself back up to safety after the third pull-up. He'd done the same dozens of times in the past. Unfortunately, things did not go as planned. The video showed him struggling to pull himself back over the edge after the third pull-up. He tried to use his feet, but the side of the building was too slippery to generate any traction. Wu kept trying, until his grip failed, sending him plunging 45 feet onto a lower terrace below. He did not survive this fall, and since he was completely alone when trying to record this video, no one knew what happened to him right away. His girlfriend filed a missing person report when he didn't return home, but it wasn't until the next day that a window cleaner discovered his remains. Wu wanted a better life for himself and his loved ones. Sadly, the risk he took for this viral stunt cost him everything.
That's actually crazy, man. Those parkour videos. Hardcore, man. Something silly, man. They make that sign. Yep, we've seen Jim Carrey do it. Those. Everybody in on it, bro. What the? Got Tekka too? Katy Perry have some imagery in her songs too. It's always the all-seeing triangle. Billie Eilish, god damn. Not Brown, what the?
That Hollywood is evil.
I just turned 15 and I was an extra in Bad Boys 2.
Really?
And yeah, they were shooting this club scene. And they brought me in and I was wearing a Stars and Stripes bikini and a red cowboy hat and like 6-inch heels. And they took me to Mike, and he approved it. And they said, you know, Michael, she's 15, so you can't sit her at the bar, and she can't have a drink in her hand. So his solution to that problem was to then have me dancing underneath the waterfall getting soaking wet. And that's...
Perfectly wholesome.
At 15, I was in 10th grade. So that's sort of a microcosm of how Bay's mind works.
Well, that's really a microcosm of how all our minds work. But some of us have the decency to repress them.
In that clip, we can clearly hear Megan Fox talking about her first big break in the movie industry, being in Bad Boys 2 when she was just 15 years old. He states that she wasn't allowed to sit at the bar in the scene because of legalities, but instead the director decided at 15 it was a good idea to have her in a bikini standing under a waterfall. What? Also hear Jimmy Kimmel say some really reprehensible stuff at the end of that clip. Listen again if you didn't catch it. I find it astounding that so many of these stories exist, like Megan Fox just told, and then these people go on to become some of the biggest names in Hollywood, like a staple of the A-list. Comment below with your thoughts. Am I on to something or am I tripping? Wake up. What if?
No, you were on to something. It's Holly weird, bro. Every single time I come across these clips, that's what I'm gonna call it, man. When involves some weird crap in Hollywood, Holly weird. Plain and simple, man.
I'm just saying, just what if the ticks that everybody are talking about, what if they're not really ticks? Oh, look at this, the glitch. I start talking about the tick, I'm just going to go ahead and let it glitch. But I want to tell you this, they're tiny microchips, that's all.
What is happening at NASA right now? Or should I say, what is happening to the people who are working for NASA? New York Post just broke the story about how all of these NASA scientists are ending up 6 feet under, linked to what they're describing as secret programs. If former FBI agents are describing these deaths as suspicious, you think as a ninth NASA scientist has to know I'm not talking about because they're going to space. Talking no autopsy, no cause of death, foul play? Who knows? 10-year-old Michael Hicks did mention Alcoholics Anonymous in his obituary, where they were accepting donations in his memory. Retired Air Force general who disappeared in February, he was simply walking out of his front door and disappeared. Didn't bring his glasses or his cell phone. Monica Reza, seen here, disappeared June of 2025 hiking and was never found. Does anyone remember that astrophysicist that everyone was saying all those conspiracy theories about? He is also with NASA, and you can read the caption below to see exactly what happened to him on his front porch. Carl's death also taking place same time this Air Force general literally just vanished in thin air, bringing the grand total of mysterious deaths linked to NASA to 9.
NFL is quickly getting rid of all of their viewers because now to see all the NFL games next year, you're going to have 10 different subscription services. So the NFL used to strictly be on NBC, CBS, and Fox. It was very easy to go see all the games you wanted to see every single day, but now streaming services have ruined watching sports. Now for next year, you are going to have 10 different streaming subscriptions just to watch the NFL. You're going to have Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, NFL Network, Peacock/NBC. You're going to need Fox. You're also going to need CBS, ESPN+, Paramount+, YouTube TV, and NFL Sunday Ticket if you want to see every single game next year. And not only that, now the NFL is expanding to countries far beyond the reach of the regular NFL audience. Like literally 2 teams that are in California are going to have to go all the way to Australia next season to be able to play their football game, when they only are a few hours hours apart, and all the fans would be able to come and see their teams. Now they're going all the way to Australia, which we know is owned by rugby. It seems like Roger Goodell and the NFL only care about money and do not care about how many fans they upset along the way and how many fans they're probably going to lose to all of these new changes.
10 streaming services is just diabolical, man. Bro, these companies, man, these billionaires, all they care about is money, 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 bro. Like I said, it's going to lose a couple of fans, but I guess they just outweighing a couple of fans for how much money they about to get in the end, bro. Man, 10 streaming services, bro. People can't afford that, especially now. But they think, bro, where they think we're going to get this money from?
And how they react after that classic star question.
Do you see stars in outer space?
No answer?
Yeah, I was actually just talking to my crewmates about that today. I've definitely seen stars in outer space, and I was saying I haven't as many as I thought I would. So we have so much illumination from the sun on the moon and the earth right now. It is hard at times to see stars. Just like when you walk out in the daytime, you see a blue sky but no stars. We look outside and we see the black space and no stars. But tonight we're going to be pointed into deep space, and we're going to turn out all the lights in the spacecraft for the first time on the mission.
Yeah,
give this about 20 or 30 minutes. We do this all the time on the International Space Station. Christina and I just have great fond memories of this. You'll start to see the stars, and if you give it enough time, you will see so many stars, it's hard to see the constellations because there are so many stars out there. Wow. The coolest part of those stars is they do not twinkle at all. They are just perfect. They almost look just perfect pinpricks of light. So that is our homework for tonight, Jeremy. We are doing that. We'll take a picture.
Finally, I'd like to thank Harvey Weinstein, the Punisher. That's his nickname.
The Punisher.
Yes, my friends at Miramax for making this film, especially Harvey. And Harvey, thank you for killing whoever you had to kill to get me up here today.
And to Harvey Weinstein, the tough guy on the playground with the biggest heart.
Some very barbaric and violent undertones in the choices of nicknames and things he had to do to get you to win an award. That's not including what came out about this monster later on. All I'm going to say is there's so many in Hollywood that was twerking for this guy for the longest of time. It's safe to say that clips like these have not aged well. But as always, along with the people in the clips, along with their colleagues and peers, you know, very silent on issues like this and all the ones that are coming out at the moment. Let that tell you everything you need to know.
So, what do you feel about James Fishback and his plan to tax you 50% as a sin tax for being a sinner?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, it's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Florida already has no income state tax. It doesn't exist. So it seems very selective, and it seems like it's a punishment.
What do you guys think, man? But I just saw that freaking clip. I just had included in this video, bro. A Florida government, governor wants to employ sales tax or Sophie Rain, the OnlyFans star, bro. Cause she made so much money, man. I guess her earnings got leaked, bro. I heard this. She was like close to making like LeBron James money, bro. Like his whole salary, like 50, and I know he's making like 50 M's, and she got like close to that, or just about. What do you guys think, man? Should there be OnlyFans tax, bro?
So hold on a second, because this does not help the allegations. We have an astronaut saying this, and people still don't recognize that this whole thing is a big joke. You are the butt of the joke if you believe that this is actually going on to the way it's described. Listen to this guy, and then we'll discuss the length of the rocket, by the way, which allegedly went to the moon the other day.
It might land wrong, but I'm going to try anyway. This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like, we should, as humanity, we should take a brief moment to go, that's awesome. One of the things that we most asked for and look forward to is we are going to do a crew conference between Integrity and the International Space Station, the crew that's up there.
If you're paying attention, he said, this is the first time that there's been people on the moon
and them talking to other people in lower Earth orbit. But it's just very interesting that you word it that way. Now, how tall was the rocket? 322 feet. 322 is literally the number of the Skull and Bones secret society. None of this is a coincidence. Humans will see a whole nother world when the veil is lifted on how signs and symbols are really ruling the world and telling you what's going on.
Another new war has broken out, but this time it's in the jungle. For only the second time in recorded history, scientists have observed a chimp group divide and turn to violence in what researchers say is an event estimated to occur only once every 500 years. And this is not just any group either. This is in the largest known group of wild chimpanzees in the world. And now they're battling each other to the death. You see, over the past 30 years, researchers from the University of Michigan and other institutions have been monitoring a community of Ngogo chimpanzees in western Uganda. And at first, everything was normal. They coexisted peacefully as one big cohesive group and happy family. That was until the year 2015. Researchers say that year there was a change in alpha male, and it coincided with the first sustained separation of this group. Started to sound like US politics. 3 years after splitting in 2018, the Western group carried out a series of fatal attacks on the Central group, which officially marked the start of the Great Ape Wars of Uganda. Since then, at least 28 chimpanzees have been murdered, 19 of which were infants that were also often kidnapped. The crazy thing, these aren't just random disorganized attacks. They say they are coordinated group efforts known as collective violence aimed at causing the most harm possible. Another researcher described that when an ape is attacked, quote, there'll be like 5 or 10 chimps piled on him, holding him down, beating and biting him. And in some cases, they'll even rip off their you know what.
Nah, look at this, y'all. Look at
Crazy.
this. This is not no sunset, bro. This is Australia right now. Look at this, bro. Oh my God. Y'all, look what's happening to Australia as a Category 4 hurricane or cyclone makes landfall. Bro, I have never seen anything like this before, bro. This is literally like the Mummy movie. Y'all see this? This thing touched down as a Category 4, bro. Look at the winds. Look at this. Bro, that wind was cutting up like it had whips in it, bro. But look at this type of red don't even look real. It look like there's a filter on it in the whole sky. This type of red is so powerful, even a street light can't punch it through it, bro. Look at this shit. Just imagine seeing a crazy red popping in the sky, and then this happens. Look at this shit. Even the water was blood red. Bro, this cyclone is doing some crazy damage over there. Bro, these storms are not just storms anymore. They're getting darker, they're getting more powerful, they're getting more extreme, man. Just look at this. But other than that, man, let me know what you guys think about this video. Y'all know it, man. The shit.
Time, or else this could happen to you. One Friday, a man came home from work and tried to turn on his lights only to see that the power was out. He called his roommate who said he had just paid the bill now and it should be on in a couple hours. The man was pretty upset, but he decided, I'm just gonna go to my friend's house. But by the time he got back, his phone battery was dead. The power was still off in his apartment, so he just said, I'm gonna brush my teeth and then head to sleep. So the man picks up his toothbrush and that's when he heard the door creak behind him. His apartment was still pitch black, so he started feeling around for a flashlight, and that's when he grabbed something that felt like a human head of hair. So the man pushed whatever was there aside, ran into his washroom and locked the door. He managed to light a candle in his washroom, and that's what he saw, something in his shower. This huge, horrifying creature rips open his shower curtain and says, "What you gonna do?" The man then sprinted out of his apartment, only to see 7 other people creepily smiling at him, and decided he'll just sleep in his car tonight.
Pay your light bill, bro. More of the story.
Here's some crazy history you definitely did not learn in school. The reason hurricanes have human names started off as a joke. A meteorologist named them after politicians he didn't like, so he could say they were causing great distress and wandering aimlessly. William Clark had a spelling problem. In the Lewis and Clark journals, he spelled Sue 27 different ways. The Great Fire of London officially recorded just 6 deaths despite destroying most of the city. Historians believe the real toll was much higher than that. Iceland's tallest tree is only 99 feet tall because forests struggle to grow in Iceland's volcanic soil. A mysterious carpenter built the Loretto Chapel spiral staircase alone with simple hand tools, then disappeared without collecting any money for it. Galileo spotted Neptune 234 years before it was actually discovered, but he mistaked it for a star. A blind amateur historian wrote a history of the Ming Dynasty in 1660 that was so revealing that it led to over 70 executions and thousands of arrests. A British pilot in World War II flew a burning aircraft 500 miles back to base using flasks of tea to keep the flames down. A 1960s chatbot tricked users into thinking it was a real therapist, and in 2023 it outperformed GPT 3.5 in a Turing test. Britain banned Christmas in 1647. This sparked rebellious celebrations, riots, and even 40 deaths. A nobleman in 17th century Naples fought 20 duels over Dante's superiority as a poet, then admitted he never read any of his work.
The scariest haunted house in the world
for the letter of the game.
Manor, and now it has multiple locations, but it began in San Diego, California, in Russ McKamey's own home. If you can get all the way through the house, you'll get $20,000, but nobody has ever finished it. But before you can even think of going, you have to be 21 years old, complete a sports physical, pass a drug test, provide proof of medical insurance, be screened via phone, and sign a 40-page waiver. You also have to watch a 2-hour video called And Then There Were None, which features footage of visitors quitting before the end of the experience. The only way visitors can leave is by uttering the phrase, "You really don't want to do this." And all that sounds like it would scare people away, but there's currently a waiting list of over 24,000 people.
Facts about being drunk. 0.7% of the world is drunk at any given time. That's about 55 million people. Up to 30% of people are hangover resistant. Belarus consumes the most alcohol worldwide. Estimates say hangovers cost 148 billion annually.
I'm in this gas station, and I go to use the bathroom, and there's a lock on the outside, right? So when you close the door, it locks you in. From the outside. You have no way of getting out. And it's not on the meds. Tell me that's not fucking weird. That's weird.
It is.
That's weird. On the meds. Only on the meds. Not on the meds.
You guys just saw for yourself how sketchy this is. Imagine being a woman and you stop at the gas station in the middle of the night to use a restroom, and then there's someone waiting in the stall, and then the door gets locked from the outside. Whatever happens to you after that, no one would know, and you're locked in. There's no way out. People have been linking this to sex trafficking, and the police have been called to further investigate, because even if there's a reasonable explanation as to why the woman's bathroom has a lock on the outside, why is it only the women's restroom and not the men's? Just so you know, this happened at this gas station in Bryan, Texas, and because this video went viral, they have since removed the lock. There is so much evil in this world, and one thing that I learned is that you could never be too safe. So women especially, you have to be very aware of your surroundings wherever you go. And it's so sad that we still have to say this, but it's just a reality that we live in.
This is the living room of a woman who literally melted into her couch after her parents left her in that same exact spot for 10 years straight without the proper care, love, food, or any medical attention. This is Lacey Fletcher. She grew up living a pretty normal life, but she did have severe autism, so her parents say that it was challenging for her to socialize with other kids. But around the time that she was supposed to graduate high school, people just stopped seeing her. The people around her and her neighbors didn't worry because she was never reported missing, and they would still see her parents regularly who seemed unbothered, and they probably just assumed that she went off to college. But later on, Lacey was literally discovered melted into the family couch. And Lacey's parents even blamed her, saying that she stopped caring for herself and stopped doing the things that she needed to do, even though they were her primary caregivers and didn't even have a nurse at home for her. Fire and paramedics that arrived said that it was one of the worst cases they have ever seen, and said that she was literally glued to the fabric of the furniture. And her parents, who were mostly unbothered and making excuses for their actions, were both only sentenced to 20 years in prison. Rest in peace to Lacey Fletcher, and as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
This is why you should never record yourself sleeping. In 2010, there was a man named Nigel who was a single father with a young son. However, his child would scream every single night at exactly the same time. It was not your typical scream from a baby. It was like it was seeing something terrifying. So one night, Nigel set up a camera in his room and the baby's room to see if anything unusual happened. He thought maybe he was sleepwalking in the night, which was what was waking the baby up. So Nigel went to sleep that night like he did every other night, and woke up, of course, at around the same time to the baby screaming, but went straight back to bed and said he'd check the camera in the morning. In the morning, he went and checked the camera, and it was not pretty. At 3 a.m, he saw his door swing wide open, and saw a creepy, shadowy figure standing at the end of his hallway. He then checked the baby monitor, and of course the baby was screaming, and he then saw a dark figure standing over the cot.
Here are some world records
What was
that
it?
you could beat today. Now, the most saltine crackers that were eaten in 1 minute is 12. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but I forgot to tell you, you're not allowed to have water. So that makes it a little more challenging. And the fastest time that somebody spelled the alphabet out of alphabet soup is 2 minutes and 8 seconds. I don't know why, but I feel like I could do this faster. Now, the world record for the most selfies taken in 3 minutes is 184, and no, Kim Kardashian does not hold this record. The current record holder did in 2023.
Okay, here's some...
Could you beat those records, Seekers? I definitely could. I think I could beat the Saltine Man with ease. They said 12 without no water, man. That's light work. I can do that. Comment down below, man, what challenge you think you could break.
Conspiracy theories you don't know but you have to know about. Seriously, you might want to stick around for the next 30 seconds. So yeah, let's start with whatever the fact this is. Since 2011, there has been hundreds of reports of flying figures in the city of Chicago. These pictures have been confirmed real and no one has any idea what they are. Cookie fucking terrifying. Let's clear this up right now. This is not some giant fucking seagull or some shit, okay? This is Lucifer 2021. We're all doomed. Okay, for this next one, I'm going to need you guys to look in a mirror and tell me which one of these resembles your eyes. Because, my friends, dependent on your answer will tell me if you are cursed or not. Yep, now I've got your attention. It's a Japanese theory known as sampuku eyes. Basically, the abnormal amount of whites in either the top or bottom of your eyes. The middle one is a normal eye, but it is said that anyone with sampuku eyes is in for a tragic destiny. If you have whites at the bottom of your eyes, that basically means something on the outside world is out to get you. And this means basically something on the inside world is out to get you. Let me know which one of these you have, or tag someone with one of these eyes.
Genius People Who Beat the System, Part 3. A girls' college had a rule that said you can't have carved pumpkins in your dorm room. But the rule didn't say anything about pineapples, so she went ahead and carved one of those. This guy's new job required a photo of him in a suit for their website. But since he doesn't own a suit, he just photoshopped his face over this guy's face, and honestly, it looks pretty real. This sign says no bicycle riding, rollerblading, roller skating, skateboarding, or scooter riding, but it doesn't say no unicycling. These signs say that if you park on this side, you have to pay for parking, and if you park on the other side, you will get towed. So this guy parked in between both of the signs, so he doesn't have to do either. That's pure genius. A guy posted this photo online and said whenever he parks illegally, he puts a fake ticket on his windshield so the cops won't give him a real one. That's pretty creative.
Does that work, though? I feel like they just put another ticket on
This
it.
is why you should be scared of driving on dark roads at night. TikTok user Special122 said that him and his brother were making a trip from Utah to California. They were driving through the salt flats in the dead of the night when all of a sudden they looked out the window and saw a flying dark black humanoid creature. It was bird-like in form, but its legs were more like those of a human. It had glowing red eyes that stood out like nothing they had ever seen before. The scariest thing about it, though, was that it matched the speed of their car exactly and was flying only about 6 feet from the windshield, staring at them. This went on for about 1.5 miles until the creature abruptly flew away.
What the hell's the Mothman, bro? That's what they
As
saw.
an update on the model in Dubai that was found on the side of the road with her spine and limbs broken near a construction site. Ukrainian authorities have now launched a sex trafficking probe into Dubai, trying to figure out if she was sex trafficked. That's what they believe happened to her so far. She was there for modeling. She's an OF model, so they believe that the two men kind of coerced her to come there so they could traffic her. Dubai police are saying her injuries are a result of a fall from the construction site. Maybe the men took her up there and then pushed her off. Maybe it's not true. Maybe it's a cover-up. Last time I talked about her a week or two ago, she underwent 3 operations to save her life. She just went under a 4th one, and she is now in stable condition instead of critical condition. A lot of people thought she was at a porta potty event. For those that don't know what that is, buckle up when I tell you this. A porta potty event is when IG influencers get invited to Dubai to undergo basically like humiliation. Wealthy men basically will buy out somebody to humiliate them. They'll do whatever. It's really disgusting. That made headlines about a year ago. That's not confirmed if she was at that kind of event or not, but it is speculated. No suspects have been identified right now, but I will keep you guys updated as the probe and investigation continues. What are your opinions on this story?
Facts about
That's what happens when you have too much money, man. A porta potty event where people just buy you out just to do whatever they want with you. Money, man. It makes people do some weird and crazy things.
People with brown eyes. Brown eyes can prevent eye cancer due to melanin. Brown eyes are the most common type of eye color. People with brown eyes have faster reaction times. All eyes are actually brown underneath. The color we see is just due to the amount of melanin in the iris.
According to the
Really?
FBI, if you answer this riddle correctly, you may be a psychopath. Good luck. A girl was at her mother's funeral who died unexpectedly, but there was a guy at the funeral who she'd never seen before, and they instantly got on. The woman went off talking to her family and friends at the funeral and forgot to get the unknown man's number. After the funeral, she tried to track down who this man was and why he was there, but no one knew him or any of his contact details. But then a few days later, her little sister was found dead. The police suspect it to be a murder, but the question is, who did it and why did they do it? Let me know in the comments below if you get the answer.
Creepy facts
Yeah, I saw that.
disturb you. The Mutter Museum displays various mutations, tumors, and anomalies of the human anatomy. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Mutter Museum showcases preserved internal organs, models, and equipment for biomedical research and education. The creepy stuff displayed is disturbingly informative, as their poster says. Your coffee mug probably has fecal matter on it. Scientists have discovered that 90% of coffee mugs are covered in germs. The culprit? Shared kitchen sponges, especially in offices. 20% of these coffee mugs test positive for E. coli. Charles II watched William of Orange consummate his marriage. King Charles II was the uncle of William of Orange. He married his niece to the prince, and historians say that he watched over the two of them during their wedding night. Women in the 18th century used to use lead as makeup, including Queen Elizabeth I.
This janitor urinated in the water bottles of women, giving them a disease. Lucio Diaz worked as a janitor, and he would clean different buildings in Houston, Texas. In August of 2022, a woman who was working at a doctor's office in one of those buildings reported a foul smell in the employee water dispenser, and because of that, she started bringing her own bottled water. That next month in September, that woman noticed the same foul smell, but now in her own water bottle, and she said it smelled a lot like urine. She then decides to install a spy camera, and this captures Lucio, the janitor, urinating inside the employee water dispenser and her water bottle.
Why?
That camera catches Lucio uncapping the water bottle on the woman's desk, unzips his pants, and then puts his private part inside of the water bottle. Once he was finished urinating inside of the water bottle, he recapped the bottle and then put it back onto her desk. This footage showed him repeating the vile act twice over a few days. 3 women who had drank water from the dispenser learned through testing that they had gotten incurable STD from the water. Once Lucio was questioned by police, he did tell them that he did urinate in the water and that he had a sickness. Once he was arrested, about 9 more women came forward that they drank that same water and tested positive for that same STD. In March of this year, Lucio pled guilty and was given a 6-year prison sentence.
Just 6 years? Hell no, bro. Hey man, do not drink at the water dispensary. I guess that's your job.
Okay, major breaking news. Donald Trump has just single-handedly crashed the global stock market. So the US market literally just opened after the weekend of it being closed, and in the first few moments, all of the major indexes fell yet again, between 3 and 4%. That brings the S&P's 3-day losses to around 13%. That's the biggest drop since the financial crisis of 2008. China's stock market, well, they suffered their worst single-day crash since 2008 as well. Hong Kong's stock market, they suffered their steepest single-day decline in nearly 3 decades. Taiwan had their biggest one-day drop in their history, flat out. Japan, they had to literally halt trading. Italy is down, Saudi is down, Germany is down, France, the UK, India, Australia, name a country, they are probably down. I mean, Russia, freaking Russia, they didn't even get hit with tariffs, yet they're down as well. And that's just Monday. So Donald Trump, seeing all the panic, all of the, it's a bloodbath out here, he said, do not panic. He said the United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Be strong, courageous, and patience, and greatness will be the result. As things develop, and they will bloody develop, I'll keep you guys updated.
Let's talk
What you
about
guys
that
think
story
about the
with
stock
bodies of
market?
water again, because I feel like traumatizing myself. Okay, let's go.
So I saw this on Reddit, and it is a giant Spinosaurus animatronic that used to move, but it was part of this dinosaur experience where there was a whole bunch of other dinosaurs in Leeds in England, and this one, they just left it behind. They just left it in the water. And it's slowly sinking, by the way. Look at its foot in the water. Slowly sinking into that water, just completely abandoned there, just for anyone to go see. I don't know how long ago this was, but if I was walking past and I saw this and I saw that it was slowly sinking, end of living operations. Jurassic Park 3 is my favorite Jurassic Park movie, okay? Don't at me, but the Spinosaurus, look how big this animatronic is on this, and look how big it is in comparison to the humans. Look how big it is in comparison to bro. Is that Steven Spielberg? Looks like it. Do you remember when you were a kid and you would jump out of the water pretending to be Ariel from The Little Mermaid? That's what this one looks like right now. It's not a Spinosaurus, but this is funny. And the tail of a Stegosaurus on the Jurassic Park ride. Dinosaurs shouldn't be in water, bro, especially the animatronics. Just nightmare fuel, but also really cool. How do y'all feel about dinosaurs and dinosaur animatronics and submechanophobia?
Morbid Facts,
Shot
Part
that.
577. On a cold winter night in 1977, 48-year-old Teresita Basso was found brutally murdered in her Chicago apartment. Her body had been left naked under a burning mattress with a knife still embedded in her chest. The case quickly went cold with no suspects and no apparent motive, until months later when police received a chilling phone call. A local man claimed that his wife, who had worked with Teresita, began channeling messages from Teresita's ghost during trance-like states. During these eerie episodes, the woman would apparently speak in Teresita's voice, identifying her killer as a man named Alan Showery. Even more disturbingly, the alleged spirit named stolen items that were taken from her apartment, including specific pieces of jewelry that Showery had stolen from her. As absurd as it sounded, police followed these clues, and shockingly, they all checked out. Showery was arrested and eventually confessed, making this one of the most bizarre criminal cases in modern history.
Telling me she really channeled her spirit and they caught the killer like that? Must be one of the first, I guess, cases, man. Caught off possession.
This is insane. Scientists have just shocked the world after releasing a video where you can hear the first direwolf howl in 10,000 years.
Whoa.
The Times just wrote an article about it and described it as the return of the direwolf. Now, if you didn't already know, direwolves once roamed the Americas from Canada all the way down to Venezuela, but about 10,000 years ago, they vanished, going extinct along with other giant Ice Age animals like the mammoth. But their bones stayed behind. And fast forward to 2025, scientists at Colossal Biosciences recently discovered ancient DNA inside fossils that dated all the way back from 11,000 to 72,000 years old. Then, using that DNA that they discovered, they managed to decode the direwolf's entire genetic blueprint. I mean, here is where things get wild. They took ordinary DNA from a gray wolf and then edited it gene by gene to perfectly match the ancient direwolf's genetic code. Then, using domestic dogs as surrogate mothers, Romulus and Remus were born in October. Colossal claimed that they are the first de-extinct animals ever. And at just 6 months old, they're already 4 feet long, weigh 80 pounds. And what's crazier is that instead of being really friendly and cuddly, the Times report that they're kind of cold, cautious, and avoid humans entirely. They even avoid the people who raised them and bottle-fed them from birth. Colossal posted about this achievement on X, saying, "This moment marks not just a milestone for us as a company, but also a leap forward for science, conservation, and humanity." They said they're aiming to revolutionize endangered species by mastering genetic technology. And if successful, not only could we hold on to our current species from going extinct, but maybe even bring back the ones lost to the past.
No.
However, not everyone is celebrating. Some say calling this de-extinction is disingenuous, arguing that they are only grey wolves with 20 edited genes to mimic direwolf traits. And others warn that this kind of genetic meddling could lead to catastrophic consequences.
Facts.
But what do you think? Is this an amazing scientific breakthrough that should continue to be pursued? Or are we messing with things far beyond our control, risking consequences that we can't possibly predict?
If I told you...
Like, see, on one hand, it's cool, you know, that they're bringing back, you know, I guess the direwolf from extinct species. But on the other hand, bro, you know how people get, they just want to push their boundaries, man. That's literally like the plot of Jurassic Park, man. It's literally right there in front of our faces. And we got the direwolves before the winds of winter. Had to say it.
Your mother was in the courtroom here today. Would that be the truth?
No, so.
Where is your mother?
Jail.
This 7-year-old who went viral in 2008 for testifying against his own mother has finally broken his silence after 17 years.
Would you tell us your name?
Andrew Hutto.
Andrew Hutto, who is now 24 years old, has shared his verdict on his mother's case, 17 years after she was found guilty of murdering his 7-year-old sister, Adriana Hutto, in their pool.
Who is this, or what is this?
My mama.
And what does she do?
Killing my sister.
100% guilty, he recalled. I stand by every word I said. I don't believe I was what they've called coached or anything like that. I just told them exactly what I saw, word for word.
Putting her hand over her face.
Who is this?
My mother.
And who is this?
My sister.
What?
She died.
Despite his painful past, Andrew, known as AJ, now a firefighter, has no contact with his 45-year-old mother and wants to keep it that way.
Was your mommy crying?
Yes, sir.
Looking back, AJ reflects, it was heartbreaking. She's my mother, but there was also relief that it was finally coming to an end. AJ was adopted by a Christian couple and spoke fondly of them. It was good. It was a lot better. Good Christian family. There was love, a happier household.
When is the last time that you saw your mother? Do you remember?
No, sir.
My childhood with Amanda it was almost a 360 difference. Completely different. Just darkness, trauma, a lot of abuse. Both Adriana and I were hit. The difference between the two families was night and day.
This creepy doll will always find to come back to you, no matter how hard you try to get rid of it. In 2013, a girl received an Elsa doll as her Christmas gift, but it was haunted. The doll had a little necklace that when you press it would make it speak, but after 2 years it started speaking in Spanish. Once they had had the doll for 6 years, they realized they hadn't changed the batteries once, and it would talk even when turned off. So the family said, we're getting rid of this doll, and trashed it.
Smart.
But then 2 weeks later, they found the doll hiding in a bench back inside their house. Now feeling creeped out, they took the doll, put it in 2 bags, left it out for the garbage man, and watched him take it away. Then went out to go grab something from the store, and when they got home, the same doll was waiting for them in their backyard. So they took the doll and sent it to a friend in Minnesota, and thankfully it hasn't come back since.
That was a creepy doll, bro. You don't do dolls over here, Seekers, man.
Morbid Facts, Part 11. In 1984, magician and comedian Tommy Cooper died of a heart attack while performing live on stage. Thinking it was all part of the show, the audience continued to laugh and clap as the man spent his final moments gasping for air. 26-year-old Bella Kilmartin has a rare condition that sends her body to sleep when she experiences strong emotions. She once almost drowned in a pool after laughing at a joke caused her to pass out. The Bunker brothers were a pair of conjoined twins who made the term Siamese twins popular. They were a famous sideshow act in North Carolina until one day one of the brothers woke up to find that his twin had died. In a panic, he called a surgeon to perform an emergency separation, but it was already too late. He would die just 2 hours later as a result of shock. Anton syndrome is a rare psychological condition that can affect people who suddenly go blind. They are completely unaware of their blindness and outright deny it, since their brain generates false images, causing them to believe that they can still see. In 2013, a Brazilian woman confessed to lacing her cooter with poison so that her husband would die when he went down on her. In November of 2004, Peter Porco was struck 16 times in the head with an axe while he was asleep in his New York home. But he miraculously woke up the next morning, made breakfast and coffee for himself, and finally fell dead after picking up his newspaper. His body was in so much shock that he was completely unaware of his battered state in the pools of blood all around him.
Crazy tech facts you didn't know. The first computer mouse ever created was made out of wood back in 1964. Your smartphone has more computing power than NASA used to land a man on the moon back in 1969. The first bug in a computer was an actual insect found stuck inside the computer. 9 out of 10 people feel panicked when their phone battery drops to 20% or lower. But you don't have to be one of those people as long as you have the Kotek 10 power bank. It's only 10,000 milliamp hours but pumps out 100 watts to charge my devices super fast. It's super lightweight like an energy bar. It also has a super cool screen that shows me the voltages and battery levels in real time. Plus it recharges itself to 55% in just 15 minutes with a 90 watt charger. Whether I'm working, gaming or just scrolling TikTok, this thing keeps my devices alive. You can grab it now, the link is in my bio.
This is why you should be scared of jogging down trails at night. Jason said that he used to jog a trail behind his house almost every night. It was peaceful, just trees and dirt and the occasional owl or hawk. He said that he's always loved birds, so when he heard the sound of wings flapping overhead, he slowed down, thinking that maybe he'd spotted something rare. But he said that it didn't sound like the flutter of feathers. It was heavier, thicker almost, leathery. Then he heard a rustling sound in the big oak tree to his left. He said that he stepped off the trail, squinting into the branches. His heart skipped. He thought maybe that it was an eagle, but it wasn't. He said that perched on the tree was something that he'll never forget. Man-shaped and tall, wings wrapped around it like a cloak, red eyes glowing from a face that looked almost human, but wrong in every way. Jason said that it turned its head towards him. He couldn't breathe. His whole body locked up for a few seconds. And then he ran, harder than he's ever run in his life. He said that the flapping sound followed him and it sounded like it was getting closer, but he never looked back. Not until he hit the street light at the edge of the trail. He spun around, gasping, ready to see it swooping toward him, but it was gone. Just trees, silence. Jason said that he doesn't jog that trail anymore, and he never will again.
Here's why you should always stay away from clowns. In 2004, a babysitter was babysitting a couple kids when she noticed something odd in the corner of the room. There's this really creepy clown statue, and no matter how she kind of moved herself, she always felt like it was looking right at her. She then got a call from the parents to see how the kids were doing. She said, yeah, everything's going alright, but what's with that clown statue? There was an eerie silence for a second, and the parents answered, "We don't own a clown statue." The babysitter immediately ran upstairs, grabbed the kids, and ran outside. She quickly called 911, and this is what the cops found. They said they found the clown hiding under one of the kids' beds with a sharpened screwdriver. Thank goodness you got out of there when you did. He was ready.
She was a hero, man. She grabbed the kids too. People just think about
In a
themselves.
small town in Turkey, we found the tallest woman in the world.
Hi Nastali, my name is Rumesa.
She's so tall that she can't fit into doors or cars. She is 2 meters, 15 centimeters. That's like 2 people stacked on top of each other. When she was a baby, Rumesa was diagnosed with Weaver's syndrome, which made her grow super tall, super fast, and even caused a curve in her spine. Because of it, she has to move around in this wheelchair and can only travel in this van. But Rumesa is not ashamed of her height. She feels special because of it. She won 5 Guinness World Records. She uses her fame to educate millions of people about Weaver's syndrome. And she also has a job as a freelance programmer.
There is more to me than my height.
Rumesa may be from a small town, but she is a big inspiration to all of us. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow.
I found a guy in Thailand who eats chicken feather. Not the meat, not the wings, chicken feather.
Hi, my name is Sarwood, and I found a way to make meat from feathers.
Turns out, chicken feathers are chemically similar to chicken meat. That's why Surawat decided to take some feathers, turn them into liquid, put them in food thickeners, mix them up, add some spices, put the mixture, let it cook for hours, and made delicious meat from feathers. It looks like meat and tastes like meat. This idea sounds crazy and maybe disgusting, but as our population grows, the need for food grows as well. His idea is to not waste any food or any animal. If we're gonna eat meat, then let us eat 100% of the chickens, even the feathers. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow.
Would you guys eat that chicken feather, man? Chicken feather meat? You know how creative you got to be to come up with something like that, man. That's insane.
Pregnant for 2 years and then gave birth to a goat. 28-year-old Alphonsine lived in Nigeria with her husband and 6 kids. She was pregnant with her 7th child, and her husband were patiently waiting for the arrival of their baby. It seemed like everything was going well in her pregnancy until her last trimester. Alphonsine was now in her 9th month, typically when a baby is born, but she still didn't go into labor. She went to the doctor to see if something was wrong with the baby, and they told her it would be better if she was referred to a more specialized hospital. Alphonsine didn't have the money to go to a different kind of hospital, so she decided just to go home and wait it out. As she was waiting, days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and still no baby. At this point, she has now been pregnant for 2 years. One day, Alphonsine starts to have excruciating pain and goes into labor at home. As she is in labor, she starts pushing and something comes out, but it's not a baby, it's a goat. Where she lived, it was a very small village, and word quickly spread around that she gave birth to a goat. Many people started to believe that this was an act of witchcraft from someone who wished evil on her marriage. And others thought that she was just lying, just doing this for attention. However, this greatly affected her husband because he felt like she had evil spirits, so he left her and their 6 kids. Since her husband left her, Alphonsine decided to go live with her mother, and she became the laughing stock of the village. He vowed to never come back, and he ended up marrying a different woman. Alphonsine truly believes that someone used witchcraft to ruin her marriage.
Morbid Facts, Part 2. This Florida man developed star-shaped cataracts after he was zapped by 14,000 volts of electricity. While he got some of his vision back after surgery, he's still legally blind as a result of the mishap. In 2007, a man from Florida woke up in the middle of the night with a severe headache. After he drove to the hospital, doctors found a bullet in his head. Turned out his wife attempted to murder him in his sleep by shooting him in the head. In 2012, a woman from New York donated her kidney to save the life of her boss. But her boss then fired her when she took too long to recover from the operation. In 2001, a woman from Texas hit a homeless man with her car and his body became lodged in her windshield. She drove home with him still stuck in her car and repeatedly apologized to the man when he was in her garage. But she never called for help, and the man died 2 days later still stuck in the woman's windshield. She ended up receiving 50 years in prison for the bizarre murder.
People are crazy. That
I'm watching Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm pleasantly surprised. Going into the movie, I wasn't sure what I was expecting. A movie around the dark theory behind Peter Pan, where he isn't saving the kids, he's unaliving them. Trust me when I tell you, some of the unalivings in this movie are absolutely insane. Back when Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 came out, I compared some of the unalivings to something out of a Terrifier movie, just because it's extremely over the top. And trust me when I tell you, this movie 100% delivers on some gory stuff. But if you're looking for a super serious slasher, I don't think it's this movie. It's definitely a lot of fun, and the movie itself is really good. Serious? I don't know about that. It's also made by the same directors who made Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, who are also creating a massive cinematic universe called the Pooniverse, which is set to release sometime this year, combining all of their horror movie characters. All of the characters from Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, all of the characters from Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare, all of the characters from Bambi the Reckoning, which has to do with an undead deer, aka Bambi, and some undead bunnies. On top of that, the final movie to release in this whole entire cinematic universe, at least this year that's been announced, is Pinocchio Unstrung. But we're still set to get all of these characters inside of the Pooniverse, but I just don't know how it's gonna work. I almost forgot to mention, Captain Hook in this movie, Pro's one of them ones. Don't forget to like and follow for more.
Is one of the darkest human experiments in history. It's called the Little Albert experiment, and this baby is Little Albert. And 2 psychologists literally taught him how to have a phobia of something he didn't have before. And unfortunately, that was just the tip of the iceberg in terms of how unethical this was. So here's the full story. Reminder, I cover a lot of dark stories on this channel. Severe discretion is advised, but follow along if you want to hear more. In 1920, a psychologist named John Watson and his assistant wanted to see if they could create a conditioned fear response in a baby. Bear in mind that in 1920, the science of psychology was still like the Wild West and very much in its infancy. So like ethics and potential negative psychological effects were like never considered. So here's how the experiment worked. They showed little Albert a bunch of animals, like a dog, a monkey, a cat, and a little white rat. And at first, no big deal. He wasn't scared at all. He actually tried to play with them. But then things took a turn. The next time they brought out the animals, they paired it with a terrifying, loud noise over and over again. And the result? After doing this enough times, little Albert just started to freak out at the sight of the animals, but it didn't stop there. His fear started to become generalized. Little Albert became scared of anything fluffy. They made this child afraid of soft things, like stuffed animals, cotton, coats, even the psychologist's beard. And if that's not bad enough, here's the worst part. These psychologists never unconditioned him. He was never untaught the fear. And I'm sure you're asking about his mother. So first off, little Albert's mother was never informed about what the doctors were doing to her child. I'm not even joking. So without this knowledge, she took her child and she moved away. So there was no help, no follow-up, the experiment just ended. And what happened to little Albert remains a mystery. He's basically been reduced to a chapter in a textbook about how we intentionally traumatized a baby in the name of science. Researchers have speculated for decades on his true identity, but the truth is that we'll really never know what became of little Albert. We don't know if he died young or lived a long life with a fear of anything white and fluffy. What we do know is that as a baby, little Albert was subjected to inhumane and unethical treatment. Scientists taught him to associate comfort with terror, and then they abandoned him. And it continues today to be one of those experiments that broadens the space between curiosity and cruelty.
That's insane, man. Justice for little Albert, bro.
Okay, so what's actually going on with these bodies being found in the Chicago River? And is it really a serial killer? So in the last month, several bodies have washed ashore in the Chicago River and in Lake Michigan. And so far, police don't think that the deaths are related. So one obvious explanation could be that the weather's just warming up and bodies that were trapped under layers of ice are now rising to the surface. But that doesn't explain how they got there in the first place. Let's not forget that since 1999, there's been over 50 women who have been killed by what they believe is a serial killer, one that has still never been found. Most of these women were black, many of them were sex workers, and none of them have been solved. This so-called Chicago Strangler could still be out there. And it's quite possible that as more bodies wash ashore, more answers about this could be found.
We need answers, man. Expeditiously. No ifs, ands, or buts. We know what that is. We see through that, man.
Morbid Facts, Part 4. When a group of loggers were cutting off the top of a chestnut oak tree in 1980, they found the mummified remains of a hunting dog. Experts believe that it chased its prey up the tree in the 1960s, only to get stuck there and eventually die. He was posthumously named Stucky. This endangered baby dolphin in Argentina died shortly after this photo was taken because beachgoers were passing it around for selfies. If you hit someone with your car in China, you have to pay for their medical care. But if you kill someone with your car in China, you only have to pay a one-time fine. For this reason, many Chinese drivers have gone back to kill the person they hit. Refrigerator doors are only magnetic because children used to die inside of them. Before the Refrigerator Safety Act of 1956, the doors could only be opened by pulling the handle on the outside, which resulted in the deaths of many children who found abandoned refrigerators and got trapped inside of them while playing hide and seek before eventually suffocating.
He lost his virginity to his mom's corpse. On March 27th of 2014, 18-year-old Kevin Davis was frustrated, bored with life, and told his mom that he didn't like people and he wanted to end his life. His mom, 50-year-old Kimberly, was caught off guard at first, but told him that if that's what he really wanted to do, she couldn't stop him. When Kevin heard this, he became enraged, and instead of taking his own life, he was going to take his mom's life. As Kimberly was sitting on the couch watching TV, Kevin came behind her and strangled her with a cord. She started to scream, so Kevin panicked, grabbed a hammer, and smashed her skull with it. He hit her with that hammer at least 20 times, which split her skull. Kevin then grabbed a kitchen knife and inserted it into his mother's head and swirled around her brain to make sure that she was actually dead. He would then put his hand inside his mother's wound and described it as putty. But Kevin wasn't done there. He then dragged his mom's lifeless body to her bedroom and S-ate her. Once Kevin was done, he went to a nearby neighbor's house and told them that he had unalived someone, so they called 911. Once Kevin was at the police station, he gave a full confession, giving all of the details. When he was talking with detectives, he told them that he always had this fantasy of doing it with a corpse, and now he finally lost his virginity. Kevin claimed that his mother was such a good mother and she truly did not deserve that. He was just a horrible person, but if he were to ever get released, he would do it again. Kevin was sentenced to life in prison but will be eligible for parole in March of 2044.
Apparently, Ms. Vallow also attempted service on another one of the next of kin in Louisiana, Larry Woodcock. Again, that information, including his address, which she should not have access to, and in violation of victims' rights and the Arizona Constitution, was filed with the clerk's office. So we have multiple people that she's subpoenaing that are not on her 15.2, that she's violating victims' rights for. So I'm going to ask, of course, the court seal that subpoena as well, since it includes his address.
All right, it's ordered sealing any subpoena that was filed relating to Larry Woodcock.
What you gonna do?
Do you have outstanding subpoenas on next of kin or, well, let's start with there. Next of kin?
Let me check, Your Honor.
She whispering.
Check on that, Your Honor, but not that we're aware of.
As to the extent that you have subpoenas for next of kin on either of your cases, you need to coordinate the service of those subpoenas through the county attorney's office. They can facilitate in that and getting those people served if they are indeed witnesses that have relevant information in these cases.
And both of those people, Your Honor, Robert Vallow and Larry Woodcock, were not on my list and were not intended to be subpoenaed. So it was an oversight.
So I don't know how OPDS got that information to serve them subpoenas. So someone on your team needs to double check with OPDS that the correct people are being subpoenaed.
And Your Honor, they are signed by the defendant. So
All right.
she is the one who's signing those subpoenas. She is the one acting as counsel. So she is the one asking to send those out.
So how was it an oversight?
I just signed them all, and we got them prepared, and I signed them all, and I did not check them. It's my own fault. But I apologize to the families.
So do you know the names of all the people you subpoenaed, or you just signed a stack of subpoenas?
I did sign the stack, but I thought I was aware of all that they were the ones that I had asked to subpoena.
She's stuttering.
For this trial or for the next one as well?
Just for this one. We haven't done our subpoenas yet for the next trial.
I'll try. And for the next trial, I need you to be more diligent in what you're signing.
Call. Seekers, that's it for this video for you guys today, man. If you guys learned anything new, comment down below. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Also, don't forget to hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.